Welcome to Wednesday Comics. To my right, we have Valkyrie himself. Alex, how you doing?
Hello, everyone.
Ride a Pegasus. Across from me, we have Korg. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, if you were wondering, because I'm doing good.
And I am your Grandmaster Marvin. We just came back from Thor Ragnarok. We'll talk about that later.
Lightning and the thunder. I just wanted to do that.
What's that from? That song?
He thinks it's from the song. I don't think it's
I
from
don't
the
think
song.
so either.
What song?
You were saying that earlier.
By Imagine Dragons. Isn't that by them?
Oh, you're doing that song.
Yeah.
I thought you were doing, isn't it like Foreigners?
I'm not doing that song.
The immigrant song. I thought
I'm not gonna put myself out there to sing
Okay.
that's what I thought he was doing the whole time too.
Yep.
He was trying to do that song. And in my head, I was like, "That's not lyrics," but I wasn't going to shit on the guy.
Those
Until
are
we got on
actual
the show,
lyrics
then
to
we'll
an
do it.
actual song.
When the mics come on, obviously. Then
I'm just
that's when we
bringing
fucking
our
rant.
modern fans in because not everyone likes 80s music.
What's Imagine Dragons? What kind of music's that? If you're going to put it in a genre,
Techno pop.
techno pop.
I don't know.
I've heard Imagine,
techno R&B.
I've heard Imagine Dragons, and there's no way that's techno.
Okay,
It's pop, maybe,
pop.
but it's not really.
That's kind of like rock
like pop
too.
rocks. Pop rock.
Okay, Grandpa, calm down over there. Don't sizzle your tongue.
pop rock. But go pop rock.
Pop rock.
You know,
Boom, bitch.
you know, what Imagine Dragon just reminds me of is being in any kind of retail store and has that music shit.
Yeah.
That's what that music reminds me of. It's generic vanilla.
You say music acts like it's for your armpits because it's so good.
So before Thor Ragnarok, we saw some trailers. Star Wars, obviously, Alex was ecstatic. He's like, "Why did I not get tickets? I am fucked now."
I even leaned over to my wife and I go, "I am so happy I'm not seeing this movie." There was not.
You lean over and I was like, "Fuck this guy."
There was not a single thing I was like, "Oh my god, I really care." I really don't. The only reason I would go see this is Mark Hamill. And
spoilers. He's in the movie.
And every time he spoke, all I could think of is the Joker. Because he didn't, for some reason, he didn't sound
You know,
right.
Did you guys watch that animated short? That it's Mark Hamill being kidnapped by the Trickster and the Joker.
no,
Like,
I
animated
know what
series?
you're talking about. I didn't
It
watch
was only
it,
2 minutes long. It was amazing.
You think I got 2 minutes of my life to give up to Mark?
Well, if I look at my phone, yes.
I do like how he's like, every time Mark Hamill spoke, all I heard was the Joker, though. But he's known for Luke Skywalker,
Right.
But
Well,
that's not how
I-
you know him.
But that's how I know him. Is his
If
voice?
his second role, it would be Joker.
Yeah, no, and I agree. But every time, he didn't sound like. I guess the only thing I ever hear when I think of Luke is when he's yelling "no" at Darth.
No, that's impossible.
That's the only thing I ever hear. So he's high pitched, where it just sounded weird. Anyway,
I recognize him from Comic Book the Movie. Everything else is butt kiss.
By the way, can we say that scene you're referring to? By the way, what is Darth Vader? Spoilers for Empire Strikes Back. You're a little late, but what is Darth? Don't say anything. What does Darth Vader say to Luke? That makes him say no.
Luke, I am your father.
Okay, that's not right. And everybody thinks that though, especially people who haven't seen that movie.
I wonder if like a Simpsons episode or something came right after that.
Something
and
must have
just
came out
Fucked up everybody.
that fucked up that line.
Well, what's the actual line?
He says no.
No, Luke.
No, he doesn't even say Luke.
He doesn't say Luke.
He says no. I am your father.
Oh, he doesn't say
Yeah.
Luke.
Oh, I
he
say
goes-
everyone thinks it's Luke.
he
I am
says,
your father.
Obi-Wan told me you killed my father. And he goes, no, I am your father.
That's right, he
And
doesn't
then
say
he goes,
Luke.
no, it's impossible. Yeah. But people always think that he says, Luke, I'm your father. But why would he?
Could be the Star Wars gangster.
That
rap.
reminds me of that kind of dialogue we always talk about that's like exposition heavy.
Yeah.
Where he's like, Luke, he's like, obviously he knows he's fucking, they're the only people in that whole vacuum. They didn't know that's who they're talking to.
So what about the end where he's like, Luke, you were right.
Have you ever referred to anybody by their first name when you're talking to them? Like
Marvin, I talk
with
about
not
you
in a
all the
group.
time.
Do you
To
say,
you.
do I go Garrett? And like while we're talking, like not even, I mean, maybe beginning of conversation.
In
but
my
I'm
dreams,
mid.
I wish.
Do you ever go like if we're talking for a while and you go, Marvin,
To
I
be
was
fair,
at the store the other day.
to be fair, I would actually probably do it to you to bring you back into the conversation.
That's true.
No, but I mean, if it's just me and you.
Dude, I've seen you zone out when you and I talk.
Well,
so.
you know,
Yeah, when you leave me in those everlasting depths of cliffhanger where I'm just like, are you even listening?
those are on purpose though.
I know they're on purpose, and I try to say your name to fucking reel you back in.
Probably not.
Doesn't work.
Unless, yeah, if it was just
In
you
a
and
group,
I
it makes
talking
sense because
together.
they're
Yeah.
not directing towards them.
You're talking like Justice League, like saying Cyborg every.
But when they like calm him in and they go, hey, Cyborg, you have to do this for me. It's like, dude, you're talking to him already. Like maybe, hey, Cyborg, that's it. But after that, they're like, Cyborg, please do this for me.
The only reason I would suggest that you actually would have to say your name is that they're all sharing the same comm link. I realize they wouldn't. But some people are over the same walkie-talkie that you're like, hey, Marvin.
For instance, in Green Lanterns, we'll talk about it later. He says, Jessica, come over here, or like Jessica, hey Jessica, you have to go do this, like all the time. And it's just like, yeah, she knows you're talking to her. You're the only two people there fighting the monster. She knows. Anyways, before Thor Ragnarok, we saw the Black Panther trailer. First time Alex saw it.
Me too.
First time you saw it?
Yeah, I never seen it.
Oh, really? I've seen it like 15 times.
That's the second time you've told him that. That's the first time you've seen it.
I know.
Well, remember that zoning out you're talking about?
Marvin, are you
His
listening
mouth
to me?
opens, my ears shut.
The way that our message amongst the three of us goes, you ignore what we say half the time. In person,
No,
you ignore what we say
that is
half
false.
the time.
You guys can all bear witness to my account of how a conversation between
guarantee
Marvin
you.
and Alex go. It's basically 30 messages, and they're like, Garrett, did you read all that? And I'm like, oh, let me stop. Because Marvin just said he doesn't have 2 minutes to watch Mark Hamill.
You two go 30 messages, I read all of it. So that tells you how dedicated I am to this friendship.
Yeah,
you're-
I put like a sentence at a time. You guys...
I can write. I've seen you write novels.
I've
before.
written novels before. But I'm just saying, the amount of links
Novels.
and videos...
No punctuation. So I
They
don't
do
know what
meme
the fuck's going
wars.
on.
They do meme wars, and then Marvin puts a fucking picture in the middle of it that he's like, "Did you see that picture from 3 weeks ago?" And I'm like, "No, I thought you guys were still fucking fighting."
Look through the gifs and search for what's true. And that's that picture I showed you, but you didn't look.
For the record, I want to point out that I had one night that there were 90 fucking messages.
Oh yeah, let's go back to college from you two motherfuckers.
From you two. I'm like, what the hell? So I had to read all 90 of these just to catch up, and it was a good story.
I'd have fucking physiology at 5 a.m. a test, and these two would be going off till 2 in the morning talking about
Eventually
wiping
we'll
each
talk
other's
about Black Panther.
assholes.
So anyway, Black Panther.
You guys saw it for the first time. I've seen it like 15 times. That was 15 times I saw that trailer. I really like that trailer.
It was awesome.
You ever seen the first one before that?
I saw the teaser.
That one's I think is better, but I like this one too.
I don't know if I
teaser.
like the music choice though. I didn't think it really fit.
I did. I
you
like the
did?
music a lot. Yep, and the first one too. Actually made me down with the song.
I think for me, the music.
What do you think about Black
doesn't-
Panther? Does it make you excited to go see this movie? It's a February release, so it's not even like they're not putting it in summer.
When I saw the new suit that he's wearing in the, because it's another suit that he's got. It's not the one from Civil War. It's the one that
It's a different suit,
It's
yeah.
all black and then outlined in purple because that's him, right? Not the gold one. The gold one's
Well, the purple I think is some sort of like energy
okay.
because there's certain parts where it is silver still, and then like it lights up when he's like
Oh, I see. Okay.
charging up.
I thought it looked good. I agreed with Garrett that I personally did not care for the music, but I guess I'm expecting it to be a what's the right proper way to say it?
More like cultural.
Cultural native African music. When to be fair, they're the like tech guru of the world, aren't they? Wakanda.
Yeah.
So I mean, it makes sense that they're up to speed. They're not a
no,
poor
It's not a
civilization.
third world country. Yeah. Well, the thing is that it's being directed towards that kind of market. It's coming out in February, which is Black History Month. So like that's the reason why it's coming out in February. And so, but the thing is, so I really like that trailer too, and I think the movie's gonna be really good. I mean, of course, the director's amazing.
Yeah, Creed. So Ryan Coogler.
And-
Thanks,
And
Coogler.
Fruitvale Station I watched recently with Michael Jordan.
I want to watch that, but I've heard it's really depressing. And every time I'm about to press play, I'm like, I'm just in a really good mood right now. I don't want to bring myself
Yeah,
down.
it's really depressing. But it's shot in a way, both movies have shots that I'm just like, man, that's fucking good. And very rarely that I watch a movie and like I see a shot or see a sequence and I'm like, man, that's good. Like directing wise. Because I mean, director could be like a multiple things. They could be good at camera work. They'd be good at actually directing and making their actors act a certain way. Or like be a good director in terms of like the way that the actors are talking, like in comedy, or making them find new humor and stuff. So, but in that movie, like, I'm like, oh, this guy's good at camera work. He's really good at camera work. But also, the characters are really good in those two movies. That scene in Creed when he's standing by Stallone or Rocky at the time when he's going through chemo, the best.
You know when he's doing the training scene in the
Yeah.
hospital?
It's the fucking
that's
best.
really awesome.
Scene. Probably, I mean, I would say top 3 scenes in Rocky franchises. I put it up there. It's good.
What is it like the first one? Yo,
First training. We got to go to the first training sequence, right?
Okay, don't include that second one. Those kids screaming just gives me a
That's
headache.
I don't like the second one.
It's like, oh yeah, follow me, 30
it's
kids.
that one and Balboa.
But the Creed, I mean
then
the
Creed
Rocky 3 training scene. I mean, I think the Rocky 3 second fight is the best fight of that whole fucking series.
By the way, I think you can go back I think in the last 6 weeks, we talked about Rocky at least once on this show. Comes up every week for the last 6 weeks.
You know what? Rocky's so relevant today. We're about to get Drago
we are talking
back.
about Creed. Anyways, Black Panther. I'm really excited for that movie just to be like, because I'm pretty sure, I'm hoping that, and we'll talk about Ragnarok later, that they're allowing their directors to make more movies in their own voice rather than being like, oh, make it this Marvel movie. It doesn't matter who's in that director chair. I mean, when Edgar Wright was going to do Ant-Man and they kicked him out because he wanted to do his own thing and they got Peyton Reed instead, that kind of made me think at the time, be like, oh, they just really want someone just to do whatever movie they want. Yep. But now it seems like we come to a point where they're just like, oh, make your own movie.
Right.
And so I hope that movie is his movie.
That trailer I really enjoyed. I don't know, Black Panther as a character has never really interested me that much. But after seeing that trailer, I'm really intrigued. I mean, I loved him in Civil War. I'm glad that I'll get to see his origin, hopefully. Or I don't need his origin, but at least his upbringing to see where he is from where he was. Yeah, the technology looks awesome. I can't wait for the fight scenes in that.
Yeah, the fight scenes look sweet. I think that's going to be good.
I mean, I love the idea of like a suit, like a stealth suit, basically. That like it's kind of like G.I. Joe, that first movie, where it just makes you.
You ever read Hickman's New Avengers?
I did, yeah. He was a big part of it.
Black Panther in that series?
I liked him, but I didn't think he was like in. He wasn't in the spotlight ever. He was kind of like in the background.
What are you talking about? He's a major player in that whole thing.
Part of the Illuminati.
I don't know, not as much as
him
you
and
think.
Namor going back and forth and like destroying each other's homelands and.
Yeah, but that was always so minuscule. I didn't think that was a big part of that at all. I mean, it was a big deal, but it wasn't the biggest deal.
I think for me, it's I don't know enough of Black Panther's, like, I guess to me, rogue gallery. Like, a big thing for me in Spider-Man is I know the villains. Captain Hydra, that's all he's got.
What are you talking about? Red Skull, Baron Zemo.
I just want to see if I can get your attention.
Iron Man. Who's Iron Man's? Iron Man doesn't have good rogue. They're all just Iron Man.
No, well, to be fair, in the movies, he's got shit. Like, what's it, Mandarin?
Yeah.
Dude, I was so excited for that movie with Mandarin, thinking that was going to be good, and it
was
wasn't.
Guy Pearce. He is the Mandarin.
Yeah.
I like that movie.
But who's this bad guy? I knew Andy Serkis is Claw. Mm-hmm. But who's the warmonger or war beast or
no monger? Yeah,
KG beast.
Warmonger is Michael B. Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? Okay, yeah. It is warmonger. Okay, yeah.
That's cool that they'll both be wearing the same suit. But the only thing I don't like about that is it kind of rubs me the whole Ant-Man yellow wasp.
Yep.
Well, that's like their default thing now, right? Yeah. Make the evil version of it. Iron Man.
Obadiah Stane as
Ironmonger.
Thor. Loki. Not really, but still, gods. You know what also is very important for this movie and actually makes me really excited for it to come out because I went trick-or-treating. It's very cold, so we didn't go say it that late. But there's a lot of people in Black Panther costumes. A lot of kids. But also a lot of kids like... kids that are looking up to Black Panther being like, oh, that's like me. Like, you know, Afro-American kids being like running around like Black Panther. And that's really something that I find like when we watched today Thor Ragnarok, minor spoiler, not really, I'll keep it very vague. There's a character in there that I thought, I'm glad that he had more of a part in this movie than he did in those two movies. Just because like I think these casts need to start becoming more diverse because if you think about it, like the whole Avenger team, the main Avenger team is like, you know, white males, and then there's one female. You know what I mean? So when you have character, it's not necessarily that, oh, you have to make it diverse for the diverse sake, but these kids need somebody to look up to and be like, oh, I could be an Avenger and feel like they're worth something. You know what I mean? Because when you see, like me growing up, I really didn't see many Latino characters really in like superhero stuff. So like when I see that, like now even today, it could mean nothing. It can mean nothing. But when I see somebody, well, even something as simple as like watching The Flash and like Vibes on there and he's Hispanic, right? Yeah. For that, even for me, it's like there's something like, I don't know what it is, but it's something in my head. I'm like, I like that guy a little more. Not because like we're the same and like you have to be with somebody the same, but like it's like, oh, I could like, you know, I'm or something like obviously.
You can personalize with that, associate, yeah.
And I think a lot of times in comics, a lot of people don't understand that because we're a majority of comic book readers are like, oh, why are you including these other characters now and getting rid of my characters? Was like, well, like they need somebody to like look up to. Like it's been you've had a while with just characters who look all the same. We need a Miles Morales. We need.
Well, that's why. I mean, in that case, though, I think they should be able to stand on their own, not.
Yeah, no, I agree with
somebody
that.
else's legacy.
Yeah,
I agree with that. There's a way of going about it that's different than replacing people.
Right.
But I think it also is necessary that they're on the team. But Black Panther's like not replacing anybody.
Right.
So like that's good that he's now going to be a player. And I've seen, like I said, so these kids running around and it surprised me. I was like, they really liked him in that Civil War movie. And I'm excited. Like, it's like, yeah, make him a big character. And I did like him in that Avengers New Avengers thing. So I actually think he's a great character. And I'm hoping that movie comes out and does amazing. And like, that's enough for Marvel to be like, maybe choose some other characters like this rather than keep doing the same thing over and over.
I think this is actually one of the few movies that I was the least excited to see. And in all honesty, I felt the same way about Winter Soldier. That when I was not a big Winter Soldier fan, was not a big Captain fan. That movie really changed my mood towards that character. And I keep looking at not Wednesday Comics, that's us. At Rainbow Comics, I keep looking at that Legacy Black Panther, thinking, God, do I want to jump in on that?
Me
book?
too. I did that today. I was looking. I was like, I really like Black Panther. I really like that writer. I just didn't like the story he was telling. Maybe this Legacy is a time for me to jump back in.
I know. And I was thinking, God, I don't need to get another book, but man,
yeah.
I think where they went wrong at Marvel is they were like, oh, we're doing one Black Panther book. Let's make 3.
I would.
But you need the whole story.
Black Panther's not an Avengers team, right?
no.
I kind of want a team that is like an Avengers team that is more like Black Panther. Not really like the
White
movies,
Tiger,
but like
Luke Cage.
like
More
a little
diverse,
bit
you mean?
a little bit more diverse, but not like brand new characters. Isn't the Avengers right now like?
Well, it's Falcon, Thor, Miss Marvel, Miles Morales.
Oh, really? I didn't.
Vision, Kid Vision. Huh?
That's Champions.
No.
Yeah, because Avengers was Jane Foster, Thor,
Oh, Spider-Man's
Nadia
better
Wasp,
than-
Peter Parker, Thor, Hercules.
Peter Parker, Thor. Who's that?
What did I say?
Peter
Did
Parker.
I say Peter Parker, Thor? Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Hercules.
See, like that's like
Infamous Iron Man was on it.
there's
and
too much of the same characters that like
It's
they all,
rehashing
like, are all
people
the
that have
same.
already been on it.
That's
So
what I
it's
mean. Like I don't need a. Who was after Peter Parker that you said?
Hercules.
Hercules. Like
Replacement for Thor,
yeah,
which is still on the team. Just
still on the
Foster.
thing, but Jane. But like Spider-Man, he's been on that team fucking forever. Like get somebody else in there.
Yeah.
Is Miles actually?
Hey,
on
they
that
kill
team?
Wolverine off for a reason. Spider-Man has to take his place.
Well, he's coming back eventually.
You're right. I might get this Black Panther book again. I really do like that character a lot.
If
so,
it's
like,
there next week, I may give it a try. But
it is a book I kind of want to try. I do like that writer a lot. I like his stuff that he writes outside of comics. I've read a lot.
Yeah.
He writes for the Atlantic a lot. Yeah, so I read a lot of his news stories or opinion pieces, and I really like him a lot. But that Black Panther story just was way too slow for me.
Really? I know
do you
it
need something
seems like
lifelike?
Black Panther is like really. He's like the Batman of Marvel. I mean, he's like really intelligent. Like he uses his brain as a weapon more than like his actual fighting. Am I wrong in that, or I don't know?
I think it's about even.
Maybe in the
I think
movies
Batman's
it
a little
seems that
more
way.
beat the shit out of everybody. I think I'd agree that Black
He's maybe more
Panther's-
tactical.
Yeah.
Then.
Well, I don't know if it's a one-for-one analogy, but I know,
Well, I'm
what
not
you're-
saying.
I know what you're trying to say.
I'm saying like he's the tacticalist of the Marvel universe.
Well, it's the
Yeah.
Captain, I think.
I don't think Captain's more tactical than Batman.
Mm.
You're right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. He seems to be klutzing around just throwing
No,
a
I
shield.
see. I would say that Black Panther is more of a close relation to is a mix of Captain and Iron Man. Has the actual physical prowess like Captain would, but mentally strong like Iron Man.
And he has vibranium. Speaking of which, should we get into it?
Let's do it.
Captain America 695, huge number here. We're almost to 700. You see that, guys?
Really? How convenient. 5 away
Home of
from
the
a $10
Brave,
issue.
Part 1. This is Mark Wade, written by Mark Wade, art by Chris Samney, colors by Matthew Wilson. By the way, I tweeted at Marvin_Saguero that I actually really like this legacy banner that they've been putting on these books.
Yeah.
It's nice and clean, simple. I don't need something fucking complicated. I do like the little they went back to
Face
putting
and
the faces. I actually like this more than the Rebirth one. I think the Rebirth, I don't like how it sweeps down.
Yeah.
Like just go across.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
It's going to. It's coming up.
Yeah, well, not right now. We get the first issue of, by the way, this is the only thing I'm going to say once, and then we're going to forget it ever happened. Okay?
How they say the original Captain America. Yeah, fuck you, Marvel.
This opening, an evil version of Captain America led the world to a brink of destruction. The original Captain America returned. First off, it's not an evil version. That is the original version.
I know.
You just fucked him up.
I read that and I had to sit for like 2 minutes just like, God damn it.
It stopped me. So World Series Game 7 was on,
Right.
on in the background. And I was
Getting
like,
blown away.
yeah, getting blown away. And I'm reading this. I go, listen, we'll start reading this comic. That game's boring.
Yeah.
And then I read that and I was like, I'd rather watch this. Right now, instead of, it made me a little angry for a second. I was like, quit rewriting your own history. You had a chance to do this.
Yeah, right now.
Like, or even like at the end, you had a chance to merge them back together. And that's all we would have said. Then you could have been like, oh, he's back to being how he was.
I gotta say one more thing.
Yeah.
The fact that Tom Brevoort like gets interviewed for all this shit, where like they're like, oh, so what about Cat being evil? He's like, pretty sure they're just gonna do what they're gonna do. That guy never answers anything.
Of course.
He keeps the status quo and keeps you interested somehow, and just being like, it's gonna work out. It's like they're never gonna touch back on that story.
It's so confusing for new readers. Don't even bring it up. Just start the story. I don't know why we need a recap. Let's just restart.
I know they didn't need to.
They don't need to. Maybe because there's a part where they talk about it in like a little bit in this book. Not really, but even still. Anyways.
Well, there's that part. We'll talk about the issue. There's one scene at the end, like where they're going through all the people's reactions to Captain America saving the day, and one of the guys is like, "Oh yeah, even when that evil guy pretended to be Captain America and real Captain America overthrew him." It's like, so it's kind of like in the eyes of the people, some of them, anyways, they don't think that was actual Captain
in this town.
America.
Yeah, they don't. What do you guys think of the issue? Chris Samney, Matthew Wilson, and Mark Waid, team from Daredevil and also from Black Widow.
I tweeted it today. This book I thought was written beautifully and the art was superb.
It was so good and so heartfelt a story. I think a great way to start Legacy. I mean, if you think back to like the intro, that takes place like right after he gets out of the ice block. And then this takes place 10 years later, which I'm like, shit, all this has been happening in a decade. But what? Explain to me that timeline. But
I also thought at that point, I was like, why do you have to put a time frame on it?
Yeah.
Why 10 years?
Why'd you say now?
I guess just to make sense that girl would be 10 years older.
I had to go back at the beginning to see if it had told me when this had happened, because then it went, 10 years later. I thought, what the hell? What?
I feel like that was more editor, like just bullshit.
Maybe the editor needed to know, this is 10 years later.
When they try to make it make sense, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't even attempt.
You don't need, you don't need to
just
fill
have
in
to tell
everything.
I don't need time frames. Anyway, you're right. I think actually this issue really does. Mark Waid's really good about finding what is the core of a character and trying to make the character themselves examine and figure out like who am I and what am I doing here. In this issue, he goes back to what town in Nebraska? Do you remember?
It's called Captain America now.
Burlington.
Yeah, it's Burlington.
Goes there. There was that story you said 10 years prior where he saved these two kids in a bank, and he told the girl to look after the smaller kid. It was like, you protect him, do this favor for me. The strong always protect the weak. And she tries to protect him, and she goes, no. He luckily saves her before the Nazis, aka whoever that was.
The Regent, was it?
Yeah.
The Regency. That was called the Regency.
Tried to shoot her, and he goes, the strong protect the weak. I protect you, and you protect him.
I know. I thought that was quippy. He was like, remember the rule. You're smaller than me. I protect you.
And then it cuts to 10 years later. He's going to a Captain America festival in the same town.
Where he's going to win that look-alike contest.
Where none of them know that he's Captain America. But yeah, like you said, they're, you're here for the contest? And you have all these people go up there to tell the stories about how Captain influenced their lives. And I actually thought the best part, you talk about one guy who he saved him in a fire. Is that correct?
Yep.
And then the kid goes up. And it's not even that Captain America actually really helped him, but he's like, that, was he being bullied in school?
Yeah.
And he's like, and I stood up to the bully because that's what Captain would do. And I thought that was really good because it's like, not only are people telling stories about like how Captain actually saved them, but this kid is talking about what Captain America means to him. Yeah. And just inspired him to like be his own hero. I thought it was really great.
This is what should have came out. I mean, Secret Empire had to happen, whatever, for Marvel. But I wish Secret Empire never came out, and this was the arc after Kobik fixed Steven Rogers. You know? Like, this is what I've been wanting for years. Captain America doing what Captain America does. He's America's hero. I mean, he sticks up for the little person. Clearly, that's the whole moral. That's like one of the themes of this issue is you protect the ones that can't protect themselves. And when you were talking about Mark Waid, Marvin, I mean, you can see he writes an essay about how he knows the character, and it's like if you can't trust him after reading that, writing Captain. I mean, if you read the story and didn't feel anything, you're psychotic. Like that was so amazing. And again, with the whole editing choice, I'm pretty sure if we would have seen the girl wearing the flag, we would have get that she's older and like.
But I get that it's a nice callback to remember the rule,
right?
So
it's nice. And at the end, they what were they called again?
The Regency. I think
they are there still, and Cap has to stop them again. He's like, "Hey, I had some inside knowledge. They might show up against us while I'm here."
Which he had no inside knowledge, or did he?
He said he did. I believe him.
Fuck, he's a liar.
And
he just happened to be there to win that contest.
All the people are like telling him thank you, and he's like, for what? He's like, I stood up and helped you because it was the right thing to do. And then he points to everybody else who helped her in the situation.
That was my favorite part. That's when he's pointing out the guy who helped that girl and all that jazz. That's not being a hero that makes you a hero. It's being a good person.
He's pointing at different people, and he goes, they didn't need to be inspired. That was in them all along. That's in all of us. We know what's right. The strong protect the weak. Never forget that. And then the girl goes, that's the rule. Welcome back.
I was just shit. Fuck, goosebumps.
So good.
Like the colors in there, like by Matthew Wilson, the costume. What says Wilson right here?
Is it Wilson or Hollingsworth?
It's Wilson.
Which one's Hollingsworth then?
A bunch of other books. But the costume looks great. The classic costume. And I loved the action scenes with the shield. Captain with his shield, actually using it, except for like to block punches.
Well, did I trigger you or something?
What?
Yeah. I bit my comic and you looked at me like you were like,
I wasn't even looking
explode.
at you.
Oh.
I wasn't even
at first,
looking at
when
you.
you did that, I looked at you and I looked at Alex. No reaction. Okay.
No, I wasn't even looking at you.
But speaking about Mark Waid's essay, it actually brought out something. I was reading this and thinking to myself, that's the reason why I like Cap too. And he even says it in here that, yes, and maybe it's a little corny and it's a little like Boy Scout, but like, why should it be? That his core values, here's what he says. Nevertheless, I will share Steve Rogers' core beliefs until the day I die. If you have the ability to help, then you have the responsibility because everybody ultimately benefits. Life isn't fair, but the people who can strive to be, and we're better for it when we do. And it's just like, that's who Cap's always been. And I've had discussions with people before, and when Cap tries something, he's like, no, nobody can die. Like, no, everybody survives. We got to do the best that we can. And the strong protect the weak. And people think it's corny and a little too Boy Scout. He's a little too goody-goody. And it's like, no, because at the end of the day, he's not going to give up on somebody or give up on somebody weaker than them because he is strong. And it's not that he's a super soldier that makes him Captain America. It's before he even got that super soldier serum, the reason why they picked him. That's what makes him Captain America.
Right.
And that's the reason why he's the leader of the Avengers, and that's the reason why I like him.
He's a good man.
What's that from?
Captain America.
Oh, yeah.
In the movie.
Yeah. I just thought you were being, he is a good man. Yeah, he is.
This obviously was going to be I went into it being like, there's no way this lives up to my expectations. And it did. About 10.
Yep,
10. Pick of the week. I mean, that is a perfect Captain America issue. And like, I know it says part 1, but it's treated like a one shot.
You could just.
It says the end at the end, and I feel usually the end at the end of a comic is like kind of corny, but here I think it fit perfectly.
Well, it's called Home of the Brave, Part 1. At the end, he goes on his bike. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be just traveling America doing stuff like this. So
see, this is what Superman Grounded should have did instead of just like, all right, I'm gonna walk.
As I agree, I went into this expecting to be blown away, and I was blown away.
Great. That quote about protecting the one smaller than you, that's an instant historical Captain America quote.
I'm glad you guys actually liked it because when I was reading this, I was like, oh, they're not going to like that it's really any action and like,
oh, really?
Mostly just Cap talking about like,
that's what I've been wanting is Steve Rogers. That's what I'm out freaking loud.
It's more about realigning people to be like, no, this is who Captain is.
Right.
Depending on if someone else had written this book, I probably would have felt differently. But this team, the way that Wade writes him and the way that he's drawn so Boy Scoutish even. He doesn't try to be BA. He's just a polite
Mark Waid
man,
has
the way he stands.
Has a great way of something that could come off campy or cheesy, Mark Waid knows how to make it feel sincere and make it feel like, even though it feels old fashioned, still feel like, oh, that still applies to today.
And sorry, no, didn't mean to cut you off. I was waiting for you to finish.
No, that was Dan.
I'm gonna cut you off anyway. Then you'd mentioned the flag thing for the girl as an older adult. I think that's something she probably wears every year that way because that's how it was 10 years ago.
But I'm just saying, like, you didn't need to tell me 10 years later.
Well, and I agree. I agree with that. But like at the end of it, I was just thinking, now it's probably one of those things that this is what Captain gave her. That every year this is something a memento towards what he had done for her.
Right. Absolutely. That's awesome.
You know what we got this week? We got number 4 of 6 right here.
Of what, Alex?
Oh, we got Lazarus.
What a fucking segue.
You like it, right? X+66, written by Greg Rucka and Eric Troutman. And I have to find the art. Art by Alitha Martinez. Oof. Colors by Santi Arcus.
I gotta find the artist. It's literally one page. What do you... How hard is it to find? It's right underneath it.
Well, I know it's right there. I was looking down again to see if I missed the right spot.
Lazarus X+66 Part 4. We never talked about 3. Did you guys like 3?
3 was okay. I actually thought 3 was kind of slow.
I like 3.
I've loved every single issue of this.
3 was different.
1 and 2 were great. 3 was... I know that's characters we met before, but it didn't settle as well as...
I thought it brought a different aspect. All of them have been about like the military, different Lazarus, or the families. It's nice to see one part that's like the people going against these people in charge.
Yeah, that's why I've been seeing it. I've been reading it. Like, I know this is a little mini, but I've been reading it more as one shots, not connected to. I mean, it's connected. All of it is, but I mean, it's like slices of life in the Lazarus universe at the end of X+66. This issue though was just fucking awesome. It was fun seeing 2 Lazarus do what they do, and I love that it's kind of like a death match. Like, they get their orders, and the last order they get is like, oh, one more thing. You have to kill the other Lazarus by the time this is over.
The beginning is really great with that dual kind of panels where you see them each being told something and how to do the mission. And then, the last 2 panels are like, oh, by the way,
kill the other one.
When you get the chance, kill the other person. And they mention them by name. Do you remember what the name was? Their names?
One is Almira, and the other is...
Start with an X.
It says on that first page you're looking at before. Anyway, so it's a story where these kind of families have lost their land in Africa, I believe, right? And so they're going back to take out this group that's been in there. It's kind of like a hostile land. And
Alima and Ixlani.
And both families are like, we're going to work together to do this. Obviously not a real truce that they meant to betray the other person. So you get a whole issue of them just going in, working together. Obviously they like each other. We've seen them in that poker scene before in the last couple of...
In the calling.
The calling. Yeah, and it's just a nice issue of them going in and working together, and then you get that last part where it's like, I'll tell them I didn't get it shot. Like, I didn't have a chance to do anything. And he goes, yeah, I'll tell them that too. And
they just kiss them on the cheek and then you go separate ways.
So, because a lot of times we see Forever, Lazarus, and all the kind of stuff. It's just nice seeing a couple of the Lazarus, like, especially being really good about that job. Like, you know what? They never at one point I was like, oh, these guys are not going to make it. Right. They're like fucking
There's one part where I thought that he was going to get taken out because she was doing all the computer work, hacking stuff.
All the guys are
and he's fighting everybody, and he's getting pinned down. And then she sends the swarm to go kill everything.
Dude, that swarm was badass. Those micro drones.
Yeah.
I saw that. You know what? It was badass, but also I was like, I know Greg Rucka, and I know he read something that they're developing those, and that's why it's in this book.
Right.
It also made me a little scared.
Yeah.
Well, the whole issue, I had like adrenaline because I was like, there's so many opportune moments for one of them to kill the other. And I thought if there was going to be a kill, it'd be Alima using
she's going to swarm
drones and swarm him with everybody else. And like
that's what I thought was going to happen.
The swarm obliterated them.
Yeah. Just that 2-page spread of their kill streak. Holy! I had to go back and look at it just one more time. I was like, oh man, there's so much good stuff going on.
The art at first, I thought the art, I was like, oh, I'm not going to like this art. Like the first couple pages. But by the time they got in that land and started doing all that stuff, I actually really liked it.
Yeah.
Just
let it breathe a little bit.
A little more, room, especially that 2-page spread was really good. Like you said, all these have been good. Is this 4, right?
This is 4. So 2 more.
2 more. I do know the last one they talked about in here for a little bit, right? Is about the dragon.
Right.
guy.
We'll see, and they even talk about the dragon here. That's why Forever couldn't be there. She's too busy over in Europe, or he's too busy over
And
in
I
Europe.
think in
destroying
3 they
everything.
talked about him too for a little bit. So we've been getting these seasons leading up to 6. Like you said, there's some connectivity, but you can read this as one shots. And also it's not, even though this is a mini series while we're waiting for the main series, I think he is setting up stuff.
Oh, these are all seeds. I mean, this is like the sizzle reel during a season finale before the next season comes. Like all these little things, like that ending with them walking away from each other. Hell yeah, sometime in X+67, they're coming back together and they're going to at least see each other and they'll probably like wink or nod like, hey, remember that one time? You know, kind of thing. So
It's good.
it's all going to tie together. Yeah, I give this a 9.
Yep, this is a 9 for me.
I mean,
Yeah.
wow.
By the way, once again proved, those letter pages
Holy shit.
are the best in the comics today.
It's like reading an extra comic, but so worth it.
He talks about how it's being made into a show very early, he says. But he says that he sold it to Amazon, and Amazon's developing it. He says it's on a fast track, but don't get your hopes up right now. He has high hopes for it, but it could not go anywhere. Talks about that for a while, and then when did they start putting his book recommendations in the back?
They've been doing that for at least for this. They've done
Really? For this whole miniseries?
The whole miniseries. He's
Oh,
done
I must
one
have missed
fiction book and one nonfiction book. Every issue.
I really like that. See
I
what
want to
he's
read that John Le Carre book because he was from he made
Buddy.
Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
I did the same thing.
Yeah,
I looked it
that's
up.
good.
I'm going to read that book too.
Let's do our own book club, not the Wednesday Comics League of Extraordinary Agenda People book club.
Nice.
It's a good. You know, those letter pages are actually good for a couple of reasons. One, sometimes people ask the questions that he picks. I don't know if it's just the question he picks or if it's just the caliber of the readers that are reading this book are very thought out and like, hey, I'm in the military. Do you know about this? Or hey, I'm in the medical field. This happened in your book, and that's actually not how it would happen. Here's actually how it would happen. And every time Greg handles it, being like, "Wow, really?" And he's like, you can tell he's so into like research, and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna look into that, and we'll get it fixed for the future." Or like, "Oh, really? I'm gonna look into that. Maybe I could use that." And he talks about how,
He gets actual people to use languages for like the promotional material on the back cover. Did you read that one?
no, I didn't read that one.
Oh yeah, there's a lot in there. He so basically, someone was asking him like was typing in the back cover of the last issue. There was a lot of Spanish on the back, and it was used
Oh yeah,
in the wrong context. But that was through Google Translate. And Greg's like, yeah, we don't use Google Translate here. We actually get people that live in that area who are able to write it down and put it for us. Like he was like kindly
It's a legitimate answer.
he was kindly like, fuck off. Like we're not using Google Translate to put this shit on here. Like we're actually putting work into this.
I am. Well, we've said it. I think I've said it every single time next 66 issue comes out that I thought it was just going to be a thing. We're like, oh, come on, when's Lazarus coming back? But actually, I don't want to say I don't miss it, but it's not like this is like less than. This is actually more like as interesting as that was, I think.
Well, this is a great idea. I mean, if we're not getting, Lark on art or Greg Rucka writing, he's obviously executive producing this thing. But this is a good way to handle breaks.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to go on a break, do this.
Well, this is Jupiter Circle just for
Yeah, it
Lazarus.
is. And the Jupiter Circle, just like how it was to Legacy. Legacy was good, but the Circle like filled in so much stuff. It makes it much richer when you read the whole thing together. And I think that's what this is going to do. If you read Lazarus and you're not reading this, you're crazy. I'll tell you that much right now.
Yeah, it'd be so much fun to go back and read those in trades, like if you had never read it before.
I was even looking at the back cover there where it had the 1 through
Trade
5 and then
listings.
the big. But dude, if you're gonna get this book, get the big hardcovers.
Yeah.
Totally worth your money.
Lazarus is a kind of book that I really don't hear people talk about either. We talk about that all the time with
Deadly Class.
Deadly Class.
Well, that's definitely a book you can't just jump in. You have to get your toes
Maybe
wet.
that's why it's like so deep. But I guarantee you, when that show comes out, it'll explode. Yeah, it'll explode. It's gonna be so good.
And who's got $500 issue ones? We should have bought 2, bitches. We're hundredaires. Next book we're going to talk about is Green Lanterns, written by Tim Seeley. Why don't they? Oh, here it is. Sorry. Art by Ronan Cliquet and colorist Hi-Fi. Letterer Dave.
I didn't realize they give you both books that
I don't
Alex
get.
doesn't read. Yeah.
That's okay.
Well, I was say, to be fair, I made a mistake this week. I had sent you guys a pre-list before I'd asked you what you wanted to fill in with.
That's what we always do.
I'll tell
Pre-list,
you-
and there's never a confirmed list unless I retype it or Marvin does.
I'll tell you something though.
No, because when I do send it again, then you guys have another. I don't want to read that.
You read
one.
Batman. You said it was good.
Yeah.
I did not get a chance to read Batman because I read these books. However, what do you think of this book?
I think coming off Sam Humphrey's run.
No, hold on. When he already says that, I'm going to finish.
Oh, is this Seeley? Okay.
Yes.
This is Seeley. I think this is a B storyline.
I would rather have read Batman this week.
Oh my God. This is pointless.
Are you
The
gonna keep
first
getting
part.
Well, here's the thing about this. Right. I was thinking
Sorry,
about
Garrett.
It's okay. This is getting my Marvel shit dumped today. Like, this should only, the first part of this, I thought was, besides Simon and Jessica looking for jobs, I thought that was like good, not like the best.
So there's good parts of this.
But the whole other planet.
But overall,
shit,
I'm like, what are we doing here? That's what I kept thinking the whole time. I was like, what are we doing here? I don't understand. Well, I understand. So, okay, in this issue, in the last issue, they're trying to get regular jobs. For some reason, they're
trying to get jobs.
They're trying to get jobs.
Yeah.
For some reason, they're Jessica's therapist and Simon's sister
Yeah.
are trying to tell them, no, you need to get jobs. Obviously, it makes sense for the therapist because she doesn't know that she's a fucking Green Lantern. But the sister knows that Simon's a Green Lantern, and she's like, you better get a job. And he goes, I do have a job. Not that Green Lantern shit. Get a real job. And it's like,
Well, she's threatening like of him being like moving out. I know it's your sister, but like
even
even
Green Lanterns give a shit about rent.
he's living in the fucking lantern.
He's saving
now.
the planet, and she can't.
He lives in the lantern.
Now he does.
Now he does.
There's a
I'm sure if
Basically,
his sister knew that though,
Green
she'd be
Lantern
like,
quarters.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought that was Mogo.
"That's the living planet."
No,
Well, I get that,
actually,
but-
show him the picture.
But that's their
No, but I mean, like,
headquarter base.
This dude's saving the fucking earth. You can't give him free rent. I don't understand. He lives inside of a lantern.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's in space.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, but it comes down to that nobody will hire Simon because he was labeled as a terrorist at one point in time. So they said, "Hey, I don't know. Hey, I'm cool with it. That's not the best. I'm cool with it. But like, if they find out all the other workers, I don't know if they could live with it, work with or trust somebody who's been a terrorist before." So he doesn't get the job.
And I think it's bullshit that person was like, "But you can have a season pass to all of our shows."
I know, it's kind of weird.
Okay, what the fuck?
I do like that. I'm cool with it. And it's not me. These guys over
You know, it's hard for me to say this, but I want Sam Humphries back. I think he gets those characters way better than Tim Seeley. I mean, Tim Seeley's just starting out. I think if they traded titles just for the sake of it, trade back,
switch 'em
motherfucker.
back.
trade
Jessica
back.
tries to be a waitress, and the guy, she talks about how she had agoraphobia and she couldn't leave her house for 2 years.
Yeah.
And because she was like in a traumatic event, she goes, I'm better now. I'm going to therapy, and I'm out of the house. Stuff like that. And the guy's like,
Kitchen.
well, we're going to put you in the kitchen. You can't be in front of people. Like, I don't know if you'll freak out or stuff. Think you could be worse in the kitchen? It's more stressful.
Yeah.
He's like, it's stressful out here, man. Like, I don't know if you could be out here.
God.
She's still obviously going to work there, she said.
Yeah.
But even still, like, so it's an issue where they're trying to tell you that even though these guys are Green Lanterns, their secret identity, I guess you would say, their real life selves can't get jobs because of the way that they look or if something happened to them in the past. They're labeled a certain way and they can't get past it. It's so fucking base level, though, that I'm like, we know this. We've been over this a million times. I know he's a terrorist. I know that people are looking at him a certain way. We know that Jessica has anxiety and that people are looking at her like she can't do anything, like she's helpless, and that she has anxiety. We've been over this a million times.
Right.
Can we do something else?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Jessica knows, like, she spiked her willpower. She can make constructs now. Like, she's come so far. This just seems like, well, let's just ignore what Sam did. Go back to that.
And didn't even
Jessica.
have Simon not believe in her again.
Right.
There's the one part where he's like, "Are you okay?" And she goes, "I don't know. You're right. It might be too much anxiety for me." And she puts up, she has 100%. She goes,
Yeah.
"I'm just kidding." And it's like, why would Simon knows that she's good.
Right.
So why even bring
There's
it up?
that awkward thing where they go into the fire and he's like, want me to go first? Like, he's like, I didn't mean that to be mean. I just know that you have an anxiety problem, whatever. And I'm just like, the fuck?
all of Sam Humphries.
This is all in one issue. All this shit you're just telling me now.
Well, this part, what happened in
and
this
that,
one?
yeah.
Okay.
They burst into lava and he was like, I'll go first.
All of
'cause you have
Sam Humphries
anxiety.
taking these characters from those levels and then making them evolve to being like okay with her anxiety and him being okay with her, them being actually good partners. Simon like getting kind of dealing with his anger and getting over the terrorist thing, and then now we're kind of back to like backpedaling a little bit, and it's just like
And the cliffhanger is we're getting Bolfunga from Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps, which, where did they fuck up that he escaped?
yeah,
And is it really relevant for our characters? Like, I'd rather have Atrocitus break out again and cause havoc. So, I'm gonna keep getting it. At least, I don't know.
Here's the thing. Tim Seeley, I think his Nightwing was good.
Yeah,
I like his Grayson was good. Well, the part he wrote until he got off it. Sam Humphries on this book, I thought it was great too. So like the change should be okay. Like Tim knows how to write. I know Tim knows how to write. But maybe you're right. Maybe the characters are not for him. Maybe the book is just where they actually trade books and they're like, oh, you get Green Lanterns. Or did he go, I want to write Green Lanterns? Like, what happened here? I don't understand. It feels like he was just giving them and he's trying to figure out who they are. But it's like, if you're going to take over a book that's already, 34? Which one is this?
This is 34.
If you're 34 in, you should know who these people are rather than be like, let's figure them out together. It's like, dude, we were figuring them out. I've been on this ride for 33.
But I feel like that it's a bigger turn going from Nightwing, who's a street level character, to this galactical characters. I realize they're on Earth. I understand that, but
actually, this whole couple issues about how John Stewart tells him, he's like, hey man, you guys been on Earth way too long. Your sector's bigger than just Earth. Like, go out there and do something. But then 2 issues, they've been on Earth.
Right.
They haven't left. Actually,
it flashes back.
They did fight that
monster
monster
now.
Yeah.
And I guess, the parts I do enjoy most about these 2-parters when they're actually being Green Lanterns. But again, like when they're in fight or flight mode, when they're actually talking, and it's kind of annoying. Because that last issue by Sam Humphries, what was it, 32? So good. Resolved.
The house party?
Yeah, the house party. Resolved so many things. And this, I feel like, is like, well, we resolved all that. Let's create some more plot holes to further the story.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but by 32, I really like these characters a lot. And this last 2 issues, I've been like getting annoyed.
It's like a sour taste.
Just like, oh, these are the people I know.
So I'm hoping maybe this is just a warm-up arc. But if I don't get something soon, yikes. I would rather this book be canceled than be putting out shit. Yeah. So I'm giving it a 6.
Is this twice a month?
Yes.
I think maybe it needs to be monthly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't need it twice a month.
Yeah, don't rush Tim Seeley on this. He needs some time to work on these guys.
Maybe that's what it is, but
this is the first part. I give a 7, but this is a 6.
It's a 6, yeah.
Yeah, not good.
I hoped it was going to be good. I liked him.
I liked him as a writer too, but he
but
needs to figure these guys out.
I really don't want to drop this book, but like looking at so many things before, like I can't keep getting bad issues. Not bad issues, but issues that aren't like exciting for me.
If you're just putting characters in situations to tell like no stories, then I don't want to read it.
Was only a 2-issue arc?
No, it's still
going. Oh, okay.
I guess Bolfunga's next.
I guess the way I always do is that you finish out the arc. If the arc doesn't end well, then drop it, unless you really hate that book.
Like, the arc's not bad.
I got to figure out how this Bolfunga got out of the...
Which one's Bolfunga?
Got out of custody.
He was that guy that told the Green Lantern Corps that whatever killed a Yellow Lantern.
Oh, okay. He was the pirate.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Papergirls 17. This is Brian K. Vaughan, Cliff Chang, Matt Wilson on colors. We get an issue where they're looking for their friend. What's her name?
Tiffany.
Why am I so fucking horrible with names? I think I just gloss over all names. I don't actually read them. Anyways, so they're looking for Tiffany. Tiffany's in the middle of a robot battle between the kids and the old timers.
Yep.
And the old lady who they met in the last issue is trying to tell them everything. Explain this whole issue. Explains to you what's going on. What's going on with this world.
Because Old Timer's been name dropped a lot during this series, but then those resistance people basically we've seen.
Drones, by the way.
Yeah, we've seen throughout the whole series as well. So.
What do you guys think of this issue?
I was telling Alex, I want to reread this from number 1 because I feel like I'm missing so many things.
I have to admit I was lost from time to time.
And I don't like how the lady is so omnipotent, basically, like with her knowledge, like she makes fun of them and stuff. I know she's trying to help them, but it's like, I have all the answers. I'm not telling you shit. Yeah. I mean, she does say take the basics, but I know how Brian K. Vaughan knows how to write a great cliffhanger, but I think I'm getting too many cliffhangers in one issue.
I didn't like that she's like a character that just giving them what's happening.
Yeah, spitting out information.
Yeah, it's kind of like in Matrix Reloaded when he goes to the architect. Is it architect?
Yeah.
And he's just like, here's what's going on. Even though he's fucking confusing as hell. You're like, what's going on?
Right. He's like, my pen remote.
This I probably, I understand what she's saying, but I'm also like, it's kind of weird that you're just going to sit there and tell these guys what's going on.
Yeah.
rather than, and it doesn't feel really natural. It doesn't really feel like Brian K. Vaughan writing.
It makes sense in real life that someone will be telling you what the hell is going on. But in a comic book, it seems like this was a waste of an issue almost, spelling everything out for us when, I don't know.
I just think there's more
stuff.
exciting and creative ways to say it.
Yeah.
I think by issue 17, though, we need to be knowing more about this plot than we're actually... I mean, I feel like each cliffhanger is dovetailing into the next cliffhanger, that nothing gets resolved from the past. Like, I still don't know what's going on since they left their original time, really.
I think by 13 issues, like in Saga, that was to me, it was an end of an arc, was 13. And so then you start on 14 through 21 or whatever it was. I agree with you. There needs to be something needs to be resolved.
You got to give us something for being here for 17
And
issues.
not every girl needs to get lost every new time period.
I thought the same thing, too.
That's what's been bugging me right now.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, too. It was like, we really got to have the same kind of conflict every single time somebody goes to a new time.
Because the next one's going to
lose
be
one
Mac.
girl, they got to find her, they got to find people to help them. And that's how they get more of the story, is that they find somebody who's going to tell them some of the story or give them some clues of their future. And then, oh, hey, I found this person for you.
Yeah.
Cliff Chang's art is still incredible.
It is
that
good.
robot fight, I thought I was reading Pacific Rim comic book.
Matthew
I was
Wilson's
like,
colors are great,
holy
too.
Fuck.
That's the thing.
I laughed out loud at you. Even when you turn the page, I looked at it upside down when I think it's KJ's talking to Mac, and Mac goes, oh, "This woman's I think is a lesbian," and KJ goes, "I think I'm gonna be a lesbian," and it made me laugh out loud. Just that she's like,
Well, it's because she had that vision last
Well, I
issue.
get that. I'm just thinking that she's like, I think I'm gonna be one. It's like, okay.
And that's another thing. Like,
That's funny, though. She's like, oh, okay. And she's like, wait, what did you say?
I you can pick your sexual orientation or whatever, but are they all turning into lesbians? Because like even the last issue is like, because she's Tiffany and she's asking that person in her house, "Hey, do you know Tiffany Quinlan?" And it's a lady being like, "Yeah, I'm her."
That's not a lady, it's a guy.
That's a dude.
Yeah, it's a guy.
That does not look like a dude.
I was pretty sure it was a girl.
That's
I mean,
a guy.
That does not look like a guy.
Yeah, it's a guy.
A gothic guy.
Yeah, it's a
What's
goth
that?
guy, but it's a guy.
Oh, I thought it was a girl.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would give this
Maybe it's too
issue
much makeup,
This is
but-
like an 8 for me.
I'm gonna give it a 7. I wish I could say every issue's amazing, but 17 issues in, if I feel like I have to reread the story to kind of know where we're at, and then we get the cliffhanger, and I can't even get a blurb from Brian K. Vaughan because I'm reading ANDG, whatever the fuck.
Will you shut the fuck up?
No, I read it. I mean, I'm not making fun of people for doing that anymore. But I'm like, can I just get like one paragraph where Brian K. Vaughan's like, "Hey, we'll see you next month," like blah 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 blah, instead of just like, you can leave the character. Just give me a page. Give me like this little blurb.
It's not like, though, that it was
I know
Brian
when-
K. Vaughan talking to you and they switched it up. It's always been this.
No, I know
So
it's
maybe
been
it's not
this.
for you.
Holy shit, that's not what I'm talking about here. When I'm reading the letters column, it's like you have to talk in some kind of code that I don't understand to figure out what they're saying.
They're talking in character.
I get they are. Don't get offended, I said, Marvin. I'm saying I want to be able to read it without all the bullshit in the way.
But you know, you're acting like you're watching Sesame Street. Like, enough of the fucking puppets. Jesus, come on. I want real
I am
people
not.
in this shit.
That
It's
is some
that's
bullshit.
That's the point of that is.
I
That's
get
point of this
what the
is.
point of it is, but like
You're showing up.
If
You're
I
like,
read,
come on, guys, why are we in character?
if I read like Greg Rucka's letter column and he gave you a freaking word key to be able to break the code on how to read that, that'd be fucking tedious.
Here, you know what? I'll
even
look
know what
into
that
the back of
means.
this and I'll type you up everything that's being said. I'll crack this code.
Anywho, I'm just saying, like it's nice, like letter hacks. Like at least the creators talk us through it. Like, oh, like what do you think of
I've
this?
said it again and again. If you want to read Brian K. Vaughan where he actually talks about comics, read Saga.
Dude, regardless,
pages he
read
talks
Saga.
about.
It's too late. It's too late.
It's too late.
Dude, get those 2 hardcover.
How many issues are there?
47.
I also think that
Too late.
I
48,
think Brian
sorry.
K. Vaughan also has like a Tumblr you can read that he talks about comics. So
What's Tumblr? Is that Batman's Batmobile?
Hey, you know what? Speaking of Batman, we got Batman White Knight #2, written art by Sean Murphy, colors by. This is where I thought Matt Hollingsworth was, because that's where he's at.
That's
on this
right.
book.
He has always worked with Sean Murphy a lot.
I tell you what,
Amazing.
yeah, holy shit.
beautiful book. This issue
Holy.
especially.
I love the end of this book so much.
Can we pause quick? So, what did you not like about issue 1? the
I
last
can't
couple
remember.
pages?
I don't remember.
'Cause I read it.
I read
and I was
that like a
what?
month
I
ago.
didn't miss a beat.
Because this is when you were gone.
How does it end?
It ends with the Joker basically being like, he meets up with Harley, and he like gives a press release like saying Batman's the villain. He sues them all and everything, but he still got evil machinations by the end. I mean,
Yeah, that doesn't sound nearly as good as what you made it seem like yesterday in your text.
well, no, I mean it was you guys said it changed pace or whatever. I was reading it the whole way through, and by the cliffhanger, I was like,
Well,
I didn't miss a beat.
regardless, issue 2, it fixed any issues I may have had with issue 1. I read this today, and it just blew my mind.
It was like a rogues explosion.
Issue 1 felt like it was trying to do something different, and the last couple pages felt like the same thing. Like it was trying to be subversive, and then it decided last second to play it safe.
What are you saying with like the Joker being actually evil in the background?
I don't remember.
Oh.
I can't remember what happened at the end of that issue.
Okay.
I just know that in the second issue, it did feel like, yes, he's full in and making something different. And it's not the same story I've read before. We get, I thought the Harley Quinn part was amazing.
Holy shit.
I thought the whole
That's
time I
fan
read
service. That's fan service right there. Thanks, Sean Murphy. I made a note about that on my phone. I just
To explain to anybody who's not reading the book, the new Harley with the Daddy's Little Girl shirt and the Margot Robbie's version, you find out that that's a fake Harley Quinn, that the real Harley Quinn is out there and not actually super crazy, because Joker's like, hey, I'm not Joker anymore. And that version, the Margot Robbie version, is like, no, you got to be crazy. And then the real Harley shows up and like takes her out.
beats the shit out of her.
And she's like, no, I'm really Harley Quinn. It explains that Joker was so into wanting to get Batman's attention that he didn't pay attention to her and didn't even realize that she had been replaced and that was a different girl the whole time. He's like, how could I not notice? And he's like, you were so preoccupied with Batman. And she tells the story about how she, kidnapped Jason, had him in the basement, and was going to kill him, and she stopped him. And that's when she left. She was like, no, like, I thought we were just having fun and like doing all this stuff, robbing banks and all this stuff, getting Batman's attention. I didn't think we were going to be murderers. Which I was like, I'm pretty sure you guys murdered people before that, but still. Anyways.
No, this isn't in continuity, right? This is its own Elseworld story. Where Jason Todd doesn't die.
And then she left. Well, they didn't say.
Well, this is basically, it takes place in the Burtonverse, sort of, and the animated series verse. Because like they have those pictures in the background where Batman's holding Joker, like from Batman Tim Burton version. It's awesome.
And the Clayface looks like the animated version.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what Harley Quinn is. She's the animated version.
The animated version is the real one. The Margot Robbie used.
One scene that sits in my head by Sean Murphy is where like Harley's in the bed, like in her underwear and like wearing her mask, and instead of getting it on with his lady, he's in the other room crying
in front of the altar of Batman.
Yeah, just like bawling.
Yeah. That last part with all the rogues,
I bet you loved.
Holy shit!
I liked it a lot.
That whole book was amazing, but that last like 5 pages of Bane and
Bane's mask.
I know, I loved it.
Oh, that looks
I wish that was what he always looked like.
At first, I was like, "Who's this guy?" And then they showed the Scorpion tequila. I was like, "Oh, it's Bane. That's a sick mask for him."
Scarface, Two-Face, Poison Ivy.
Who's the little redhead girl with Killer Croc? Is that
Baby Doll?
Baby Doll?
She's from Volume 4 that you hadn't gotten to.
I haven't got to
because they end up teaming up together.
Okay.
And Killer Croc, where he's actually got the croc face. I love that.
Yeah.
Oof. But obviously, for me, guys, this was a 10.
It was a 10, absolutely. The scenes with Mr. Freeze, especially when he's standing in front of Nora, I was like, holy shit, that's great art, great colors. And it takes me back to the animated series with Cold Heart. I was like,
all I could hear in voices when I read this book was Harley Quinn, Mr. Freeze, Kevin Conroy, Batman. Right. Holy shit. It was so fucking good. And what they did to Clayface is when they stuck the Mad Hatter's technology all over his body, made him turn himself into dust and poured his dust in everyone's drinks. So now Joker's
basically, Joker's controlling one person, but means he's controlling all of the rogues.
Yeah. So, you're right. There's a lot of great panels in here that. So we talked about it in the forecast that me and Alex did earlier, like the end of the first one, and we were like, "Well, at least the art's going to be good." We like Sean Murphy art, but I think in this issue, the story backs it up. Like you said, there's a lot of great moments. Where, by the way, I love this cover more than the main one. I know you guys like. I think you like the main one.
I love the main one.
I like this cover a lot.
That's a good one too.
And there's something about it. I don't know what it is, but like a lot of pages, like even like this page, like when he's just walking, it's just I don't know. There's something about the way Sean Murphy does like buildings and like empty alleyways. He did a lot with Tokyo Ghost, a lot of buildings and stuff like that. It's just like something about
That one. Oh my god, best scene I've seen in a long time.
God, this thing is good. How many issues is this thing?
8. Please make it 10. Oh,
I
I thought
would
they
lo-
added
I would-
one.
I
I
would
thought
love
they
for
added
this-
one that it's gonna be 9 now.
I would love for this just to be an ongoing series. If nothing, it doesn't even have to be Joker all the time. Make it other characters. I missed his artwork.
Yeah, I mean, there's some panels, like especially like the Batman shrines, you could stare at for 5 minutes and still see something new.
You know what's good about this book? There's a page or a scene where Bruce finds out that people have been profiting off of Batman for a while because they buy houses in areas that he
Bat zones.
where he fights crime a lot, and because people don't want to live there, and so they buy those houses and then kind of flip them and make money off it. And then he gets mad and he punches the guy because he's like, "Why you can't?" I think Batman's realizing, and that's where I really liked this book. He kind of went crazy in the first book and tried to kill Joker, but he's realizing Joker's right, and maybe he's not the best thing for Gotham. And you have Joker, like, it's very rare. I don't think I've seen a book about Joker that's like, let's examine Joker, but not about like how crazy he is, but like what made Joker, like, is it really like in that court scene when he gives that little speech about, no, they made me like this. Like, I wasn't going to be like this, but they really wanted to have a guy to justify
Having Batman in the city and being okay with it.
like, he pushed me to do this. And you can see that he's like kind of messing with Bruce in a way that Bruce is like cracking, and it's really weird to see even like Joker's the main character, but maybe like Joker has the upper hand and he really doesn't have to fight Batman like hand to hand. Like, he's really using his intelligence, and I really like that version of Joker.
Yeah,
Especially because he's on these meds. And so like he now can think straight and like work a different kind of way rather than being like just crazy. He's now
I
also,
feel like
intelligent.
if I could make a prediction for how the series would end based on these first 2 issues,
What do you
it'd be that Batman kills the Joker.
It's got to happen, right?
He's going
It's
nuts.
got to happen.
It's escalating so much.
That's what I thought too. I go,
The only way to silence
Bruce
him
is going to kill Joker, or Joker just has to like kill Bruce, and then they'll know that he really was that way, and like the whole thing was a whole ruse. But then there's no more Batman.
Right. Mic drop.
Yeah, but much like in Arkham City where they talk about Batman, I mean, to be fair, I think the media chose to make Joker the way he is. But Batman does invite the rogues to challenge him.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I like it. It's a nice little Batman book that's not all about just because Tom King's doing now likes to examine Batman and his psyche. We have a detective where it's just like a whole kind of like great overall adventure with Batman and his friends, teammates, family, the Bat family. It's nice to have a Batman
oddly,
book.
I think that Barbara's like dumber than a flower pot. Like, she is.
Oh, in this book?
she's not
Yeah.
smart at all.
she seems so young,
Yeah.
and it kind of bugs me.
Sorry, continue what you're saying, Marvin.
It's nice to have a book that's about Joker and not just being like, you ever read Brian Azzarello's Joker book?
Yeah, that thing's freaking horrifying.
Yeah. But like, that's what I mean. Like, whenever there's a Joker story, it's like, oh, look how horrifying he is. It's nice reading a Joker story and being like, look how, like, if he really put his mind to it, look how much he can destroy Bruce without having to do something like horrific like that. Like, he's really just using his mind to like attack and do these mind games. Like, I've never seen Joker like this before.
That's what I love about issue 1, where he's like, fine, if you want it to be this way, I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
I'm going to prove a point to you, so get ready.
And he's
'Cause
doing
it's
it.
coming.
Bruce punches a lot of people in this book.
Yeah. Jeez,
Well,
he's
and
an angry
I don't think
motherfucker.
Crazy Joker
Even
would have
Alfred
put
wasn't
together the rogues the way he did.
No, that's what I mean. And even Alfred then decided to show up and he didn't want to come. He said, fuck you.
Fuck you, Batman. No.
I'll stay home. What did he say he was doing?
I don't know.
Well, I don't remember.
I think he was like,
Well, he's
was too-
recovering
I was-
from his coma thing.
I was too busy watching Batman punch that guy in the face.
What's
right,
really
though. Like,
depressing about this issue, though, with the Mr. Freeze storyline is like he's finally figured out a cure for bringing people back from being frozen, but he hasn't cured McGregor's disease, which is his wife. It's like, but he cured himself and he ages. I was like, oh my God, could you imagine? Like, he'll probably die before Nora even ever gets freed. And if she does, she was going to die of McGregor syndrome or get older too.
It's a good book. I would get it.
Yeah.
If you're wanting to read a Batman story, but you don't like the current kind of Batman books, it's different than those two.
It's way darker.
Especially if you're a fan of the animated series, that takes a lot of things from those.
And the Tim Burton movies?
Tim Burton movies. A lot.
Yeah.
From the...
well, Joker's called Jack Napier.
Yeah.
So
it's good. Mm-hmm. What did you give it? Did I give it 10?
He and I give it 10.
But Cap's still my pick of the week, but this would be right under.
I think it's like a 9 for the story, but that art pushes it to a 10 for me.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially those cover pages, yeah.
All right. The final fight, or the final issue that we're talking about tonight, is The Walking Dead, number 173. Written by Robert Kirkman, penciled or art by Charlie Adler, ink by Stefano Gaudino. So we have Aaron and Jesus waking up for their night together, with Beta basically there to kill them.
It kind of starts right after the last issue. And
right
which
is
away.
nice. I kind of like that instead of like going a few months later.
Let me ask you a question about The Walking Dead, the last couple issues.
Yeah.
We've been talking about, it's been on a roll.
Yeah.
The last couple of issues, a lot of people in a lot of different places. Do you like that you get like 2 pages of one person's story and then it moves on to the next group? Like that way it's telling these stories, yeah. I find it kind of annoying.
It is really annoying.
2 pages of them walking on the fucking street, and then let's cut to, let's see what Rick's doing.
I think that that's the thing with I think society as a whole now. If I'm going to really break it down, is like because like in the first 100 issues or so, do you know how slow that exposition was from each comic? But that's what I really love about this book is the exposition. It's really dreading, and like, so when it does climax, you're just like, holy shit, all this is happening at once. So I think they're giving in. I mean, it just happens naturally that like Robert Kirkman and these guys are like trying to keep readers interested. I mean, you're 173 issues. And to do that, they're trying to get as many point of views out as they can. Because if you like a certain character, so it's hard to do standalone issues with just one character.
I think I'd rather have that, though.
I know. I would prefer... I kind of miss it.
I'd rather have a whole issue about what Rick's doing. Let's go to the next issue with what Princess and the rest of them are doing. Let's have another issue with Jesus and Aaron and Beta.
Right. I'm sick of turning the page and then being like, oh...
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. Like, it's like Beta sneaking up with them. They fight them. Oh, let's cut to something else real quick.
I tell you what, for coming from an outside source that isn't reading this book, I know only like 2 of the names you've said.
There's a lot of
people. Yeah, I'd say
all the people that you know, dead.
I've never heard of Beta. Princess, I know, is the new girl from that cover. Mm-hmm. What's the other one that you just? Jesus, I don't know who that is, other than Son of God.
So he is.
Holy shit! Is that who's in this book?
Second coming.
I thought
the dead will walk again.
I thought Beta went out like a chump, like. How the Whisperer War happened, and like he was this big threat. Literally goes, it's like a 2-jab.
You know what I thought? That part where they take off his mask or his skin face, and they find out that he's a famous actor,
basketball player / actor. Yeah,
yeah. They were like, "Oh, he was in that one thing that one time." I read that. Yeah, I know. Fucking thumbs
I was like
down,
advertising. Man. Like I didn't even recognize.
I read that and I was like, they only did this so that when this shows up in the show, they can guest star somebody for that fucking role. That's why.
Yeah, that I hated that.
I hated that joke. It wasn't funny. Mm-mm. It was not necessary.
And they talked about it for a whole page.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm glad we agreed on that because I was like, holy shit.
No way.
Why are you making such a big deal?
If you're going to bring it up, tell me who the fucking basketball player is because I don't get the reference.
Yes, name him. That's what I thought too. I go, they don't want to name actually who it is because they're waiting to see who they can get for that fucking show and then they're going to put him in there.
Yeah. Is he in this issue?
Yeah. I mean, you can see if you know who it is, I'll give you a fucking $10 because I haven't.
There's no way it's actually supposed to be somebody.
Well, I can't imagine it's actually
this guy.
Person.
But I actually like the end, the cliffhanger. I'm actually really interested to see who those new people are, who actually Eugene's been talking to.
And that was a good like cliffhanger panel I get where they're all like hands up and like, oh shit, and you could see their guns. It's got like the freaking scythe on the bottom of the gun. Like, oh, that's cool.
So obviously it seems like they're more well equipped than this team, maybe military.
Yeah. It says the arc coming up soon is called New World Order.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited for. But I'm kind of getting sick of factions in this book.
Really? I mean, yeah. It's like we talked about in Papergirls, like the same thing over and over. Isn't that kind of like Walking Dead?
Right.
There's a new faction. They got to fight them. There's a misunderstanding. Not all of them are bad.
Right.
And it's just like, can we try something? Like, I liked the way that Negan thing was going. Mm-hmm. And maybe he's obviously going to come back. He's not going to just stay out in those woods forever. But, and how Maggie's looking at that map being like, he's just out there. Like he did all that evil stuff and we're just letting him sit out there. I actually like that part of it. It's like, do that. Like, I don't really need a new storyline about them being a new faction. Oh, are they good? Are they bad? Oh, wait, they're bad. Oh, wait, they want our food. They want our lands.
Yeah, I want something different. Like, okay, so what would you say the timeline for this has been? If it has been like 5 years worth of zombies now, half a decade.
Yeah, Rick's really old.
Yeah, so maybe 10. You'd think now that maybe there'd be
jump. So I would say 10.
Like in the monster lore or the zombie lore, could there be some like fucking zombies clumping together to make a super zombie or something?
In this
yeah, there should be some like bigger zombies that form out of this, that or like runners or anything like that, like some kind of evolution that keeps it interesting.
As these George Romero movies went on, you got Night of the Living Dead, you got Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. As they evolved, the world that kind of went farther along into the apocalypse. Night obviously was the first night, and then Dawn was a little bit more into it. Day was at a point where it's been going on for a while, so they were researching zombies to see like if you can make one like a train one. Yeah. And they lived in an underground bunker, and they were like safe, and there was like a whole society going on. I wish this book would just be like, let's have a society that is safe for a while.
Right.
Let's flesh out some of these characters, because some of them we've met recently, and like I don't know who the fuck they are.
Yeah, you don't see them again for like 5-6 issues.
And have it where there's civilization. Have a book where we sit down for a second and figure out like what's life like in the zombie world, like when everything's settled down, like when you have things figured out. And we've had a little bit of that. Like, but it doesn't last long. They always have a new faction come in and be like, oh, we want your land.
Right.
And it's like, can it just be for a second? Like at the beginning of this arc, actually, after all out war, I loved it. When they had the pass, they were cleared out, and they had people, they had guards and stuff, and where they had factions that lived on their own. And I thought we were going to get some stories out of that were like, okay, they're actually living life. What is life like in the zombie apocalypse when you're trying to rebuild?
Yeah. And
that lasted, 6 issues? And then the zombies fucking broke everything out, and now they're back to square one. Well, not really. I mean, but they're, not how they were.
Right.
I just want to, like, I understand people want action. I understand people want zombies. But I really want to sit down and examine being like, let's rebuild for a second. Right. Let's move into a city. Let's take over some buildings. Let's try to get back to normal life. Let's try to get some jobs going. And like, let's try to build civilization. Let's have a book where it's like, the world ended. Let's start again. Instead of the world ended. Guess what? Never going to happen again. Have some, I understand that.
Put some hope in this bad boy.
Like let's have a little bit. Like I would like a nice arc, 10, 20 issues. 20 issues. Give me 20 issues. I understand it's almost 2 years.
No way would be that.
20 issues.
Readers, though.
We can examine shit. Like I really like Rick is super upset that Andrea's dead.
Yeah.
And he's like sleeping under a grave. I understand. That's what makes this book good. When you see these people, like, yes, they're in a zombie apocalypse. Yes, we like to think that Rick is like this cold-hearted killer, like he's done with a lot of shit, and then his wife dies, and he's broken. That's what I like to see.
When you just said that, what would be a great fucking like annual for this book? If like there was like a Christmas Carol storyline with Negan being 3 ghosts taking Rick through his like past, present, and future. Oh fuck, that'd be so good.
And like that, we get a little storyline with Carl. And
Carl.
He's with, what's that girl he's with?
I can't remember.
She was with the Whisperers.
Is it Lydia?
Lydia, and then her.
That's Alpha's daughter.
What's the other girl? That was his friend. She was in the show, but in the show she was a way different character.
I think what would be nice, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I am being dumb, but do like the Jupiter Circle type of thing. Have this 6-7 issues that's not necessarily separate from the book. It still ties into the main series, but let it be that 8 issues, 10 issues of.
I would like to be like 20 issues that then get civilization back together, and it's not that a faction comes in and ruins it for them. It's that they ruin it for themselves. Like there's some sort of inner politics, like they're trying to take over, and somebody thinks they can do a better job than other people, and then that they realize that building a civilization is hard not because of building it based on goods, based on materials, but based on people and figuring out like who, and that's why there's always been wars. The wars has always have been because people disagree, and like have that, examine that for a second instead of being like, oh, we're a faction, we need your goods and stuff. It's like, no, have it be where you have a group that
Is established.
is living together, and it's not that they want the goods. It's just like, oh no, you're not doing a good job. And we've had a little bit of that. They do it every once in a while, but it's like one issue where we have Maggie and what was the other guy's name? Who was in charge of the hilltop?
Gregory.
Yeah, but that was like so like base level. That it's like let's get a little more. I wanted like something deep into it. I wanted like a Lazarus kind of like let's examine, maybe have a civilization where like Rick's the 1%, where he's this fucking like leader and he has everything that he wants. Doesn't realize that he's not taking care of everybody properly. You got people down there that are living in these shacks.
Yeah,
and he's like, what is going on here? He doesn't realize that it doesn't matter even in a post-apocalyptic world where you're trying to make everybody happy. Some people get more than other people. Like, let's do something else.
That girl's name is Sophia. And they're setting up a love triangle because basically last issue, Sophia and Carl were talking. And Sophia was like, Carl, what the fuck? You never talk to me anymore. Like, thought you wanted this. And he's obviously
like, I got a girlfend now. She's like, well, you can just talk to me still.
Yeah.
And so the next day she spills, like, she's trying to carry some tiles or something like that. They are. I think it was tiles.
Yeah.
And she drops them and he's like, oh, let me help you with that. And you can see Lydia. She's just like,
she's like, I'm going to fucking kill her.
She's going to die.
Yeah. So that's going to be fun.
Which even that, I'm like more interested in that storyline than I am Beta coming back to kill. Like,
well, Sophia, and Carl people have been shipping them for the whole series. And
Sophia?
It's got to happen.
Was she the crazy one in the show?
She was the one.
Oh no!
Spoilers for Walking Dead season 2.
She died in the well.
She comes out of the farm.
Or
she's the fuck that
barn.
scene.
Yeah,
fuck that scene.
I still like this book. I just wish it would try something different.
Yeah,
it feels like it tries to play it, being like, yeah, you want. Like he says in the letter hacks, being like, the biggest kind of Walking Dead story is coming next. New World Order. You think you know what you expect from Walking Dead. You don't know what you're expecting. I just want to be like, does it really have to be big though?
Yeah.
Like, let's get down to small scale. Let's get down to about the people for a second. And I understand he does say, oh, this has always been about the people. But quit putting him in situations where they got to grab AK-47 to defend themselves.
It seems like they're writing it TV show style now instead of comic style. Like its own thing, but they're writing it episodic, not like
that Negan
series.
Thing is good. You have some good stuff to examine with Negan, with Rick. There's good things that we could start examining, but they also have to have some sort of distraction with some sort of war.
Right.
Tired of it.
I'm going to give it a 7 because I think the art's still great.
I'm going to 7 too. I find it super annoying that they jumped from story.
Yeah, the story you just get hooked in, and then it's like page
2
turn.
pages. Oh. And there literally is one part of the story where they walked in the street. Yeah. And then it cuts to the next story. I'm like, what did we accomplish here? I don't understand.
It was almost a 6 because of that basketball player scene.
God, I hate that scene.
I'm
so glad you hate that scene too. I read that shit. And once again, watching the World Series games.
Right.
And they had just won. Astros.
Yeah.
And I'm reading this book. And I saw that scene and I was like, man.
Garrett likes this. Fucking not friends.
I was like, I zoned out and watched them celebrate for 2 minutes until I got back to that. I told you, like a 10 out of 10 is like I was never distracted. And this book took me a while.
Yeah.
It shouldn't. It's not. Usually Walking Dead, I'm like through it in 2 seconds.
Even the letter hacks wasn't as good this time around either. Because it was talking about irrelevant information.
He was hyping up this next storyline. I'm like, what about right now? What are we doing now, Kirkman?
Yeah.
Right now, this issue. What happened? We walked on the fucking street?
Come on. Walking Dead season finale, season 8.
Walking Dead, what issue is that? 174?
173.
173. Papergirls number 17. Captain America 695. Batman White Knight number 2. What else did you Lazarus X plus 66 number 4 of 6. And Green Lanterns number 34.
Lightning and
some
the
good books. Hey, Alex tweeted out there. Follow him at Alex Mastrallo that he had some great books, and I saw that and I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" There was a couple stinkers in there. Just realized not the ones he gets.
Yeah, I know. Right?
I say to be fair, I made a mistake making the list, so 2 of those books I don't have to talk about.
Man, I wish we would have talked about Batman.
Dude, I read Batman. It was a 10.
No, I didn't. But I mean, if it was on the list, I would have.
It was a 10. And when I tell you a book is a 10.
You can't say that after you made us read that Green Lantern.
It's probably like a 12 for these guys.
I'll give Green Lantern one more issue.
Green Lanterns?
Yeah, Green Lanterns.
Yeah. But that's going to be the end of this arc. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it could be the beginning of the next arc.
To be fair, I feel that way about Nightwing.
Man, I hope we don't get Nightwing and Sam Humphries and it's bad. And we're like, what happened, man? Just go back.
Switch back. We should write an angry letter. Like, we do a comic book podcast. We've almost analyzed half of each of your issues. Switch the fuck back now.
I'm hoping Sam's Nightwing is good.
When's
I
that
know.
starting? Do you know?
After this current
There's
storyline,
two more
Nightwing's
issues of
done.
this current storyline.
Holy shit!
I think.
Raptor's Revenge is 2 more issues, including the one we got yesterday.
I think so.
So it starts on 36. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'll give it a try.
Thor Ragnarok is a movie that just came out. We went to go see, directed by what was his name? Wakiki, and written by. Here, let me pull up the. I actually had it here, but then I pulled up this fucking shit and said, I know, I haven't backed it up in a while. Who gives a shit? Holy shit! I know I haven't backed it up in a while. I just told you I don't give a shit.
Oh God!
Oh no, I pulled it up on my phone.
Oh Christ! All right, this is the spoiler-free review.
Oh, spoiler-free review. We'll talk about Thor Ragnarok.
Directed by somebody, starring some people, and other people.
Look it up on your phone, Alex. Starring Chris Hemsworth.
Right. As Baltrog. I mean Thor.
Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie. Jeff Goldblum as the
Grandmaster. We have
Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. You got some even Benedict Cumberbatch as Stephen Strange.
Hela played by.
Oh, is that a spoiler? Shit, I don't know.
No, not really.
Okay.
We knew that.
Yeah.
Hela played by what the fuck's her
Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett.
Because we got Kate Blanchett. That's Carte Blanche, you moron.
Was it Taika Waititi?
Yeah. Okay.
It's pronounced.
Who's it written by? Christopher Yost was one of the writers. I did see that. Told Corey about that. And I was like,
nice.
Yeah, Christopher Yost. They get a lot of these comic book writers every once in a while.
Let's see. Eric Pearson, Craig Kyle, Christopher Yost, Stan Lee, Larry Lieber, Jack Kirby.
Only read who's written by, not based on the characters.
Oh, I was going to say. Jack Kirby.
There's only 3 writers.
What are you on Fandango?
You know what? They're on the writing, but they got writing credits. So
yes, it's based on the characters.
IMDb.
Short movie, right? 90 minutes?
No, it's a little longer than that.
Well,
I
2
thought
hours.
it was. They must have added some more. It was an hour and 42 minutes.
It started at 7. We got it about 9:20. You got to factor in about 15 minutes for
It's 20 minutes
trailers.
commercials.
20 minutes. So about 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just no spoilers. Let's just talk about what we thought about the movie in general. Let me ask you a question, really, just to get a base of how much you enjoy this movie.
better than Thor 1 and 2.
Is this in your top 5 Marvel movies?
No.
Yeah. 100% it is.
Me too.
No.
It climbed the ranks so fast. There's one reason. I can't say it. I don't know if I can say it. I don't know what's spoiler and what's not spoiler for this.
What do you mean you don't know what a spoiler?
I mean, I guess it's not a spoiler. If you've seen the trailer, you've known this. But my favorite part about this movie, besides Thor, was the Hulk.
Yeah, we don't.
It was.
Sure.
If you really like the Hulk, you're getting everything that you want out of a Hulk movie. You're getting territory. You're getting your Hulk. You're getting your Bruce.
I thought it was a really funny movie. Very and also I loved how trim this movie was. Like I don't know how long it was, but it never felt like a moment where I was like, man, this is really slow, or like a part where it was unnecessary. All of it felt like boom, boom,
meshed
boom,
together,
let's go. And it felt kind of like a natural kind of roller coaster to like, we're doing this, we're going to this part. Like every single scene kind of flowed into the next one. I like that.
It did. And by the time you get to the third act, you're like, holy shit, we're at the third act. Like, it just kind of zooms along. I mean, not like in a bad way. It's like, you were right. It's got a nice flow to it. And when you get to the third part, you're like, oh, this is how they're going to get there. Like, this is awesome.
But the only thing about that, and it's my own fault, but the only thing about that is that if you watch those trailers, you knew like every single like setting is in those trailers. So I kind of knew like, oh, here's the gladiator part. Here's this part. I almost just here's this part. Here's this part. So you kind of like know the building blocks for how this movie's going to kind of go. Right. You don't really know like any details or anything like that. And actually, I remember we kept talking about freaks. Quit spoiling your jokes. But that's the only joke they're going to have. No, tons of jokes.
Yeah, not just the ones in the trailer.
The ones in the trailers, actually thought, even though they made me laugh, I thought the ones in the trailers were actually the weakest jokes of the movie.
Well, there's one trailer or one joke in the trailer that isn't even in the movie, and it's talking about what the most powerful muscle is, where Bruce has got his brain and Thor's got his arms, so I've got more muscles.
What?
Have you not seen that commercial?
No,
I haven't seen that. Maybe it's going to be a deleted scene or something. What else? I mean, visually,
visually,
holy
so good.
shit.
There's just a lot when they go to Sakaar that is like Jack Kirby straight up. Like
Yeah.
those soldiers or those troops,
The trash
buildings,
fields.
trash field, everything. I
Yeah.
was like, they really were like, hey, listen, you guys got Jack Kirby's
Any kind of
designs?
dystopia Jack Kirby stuff?
Like the design guy was like, hey guys, I found these books.
Yeah.
Let me hear me out. Jack Kirby wrote, like drew some stuff. We could use this. Like that's why like there's some scenes. There's a scene where you see a lot of those troops on Sakaar, and it's just like they look so like the huge circles and like lines and stuff. And I was just like, even there's a part where a character makes fun of a room about all the colors. And he's like, make up your mind. Even that room, I was like, that's Jack Kirby, like a Jack Kirby room. Really liked it. It was kind of like a nice, I thought in a way different than the other two Thor movies, that it was really more faithful. I mean, there's some actually parts that are not really faithful to the comics, but in terms of like old school Thor, I actually thought this movie was more faithful than the other two movies.
I agree. I think that if you're going to watch, you don't watch these Thor movies as a trilogy, because it's more like the first two are a two-parter and this is its own entity.
It really does feel like
it's stronger because of it. I don't think it's tied down by any baggage.
Oh, I almost feel like this is more of a tie-in with Guardians. Just the way that the colors looked and how the world was built looked more like a Guardians movie to me.
Here's the thing about that. And I was thinking about that because you said that. We went to a movie with friend of the show Dave, and he said the same thing too about Guardians, about how it's kind of similar. I feel like Guardians is like commercial fun, like it's commercially fun, where this movie felt like it was kind of not. It kind of felt like it was like being weird, and like it pushed itself being way weirder than the Guardians was. Guardians felt like it was being weird, but it's like can't go too far though. Like we still got to make this commercially fun for everybody. Whereas this Thor was like. There's certain parts I was like, what the fuck's going on in this movie? I don't understand.
Right.
And it's like being weird, and they don't give a shit that it's being
Well, I said there are awkward moments in this movie.
That's what you need. You
I know,
need
that's what I
new
mean.
storytelling
It felt
techniques to keep
fresh.
people
Well,
interested.
I didn't say it was
That's
bad.
the thing.
This is-
Guardians, I know, I understand what you're
yeah.
saying. Like aesthetically, they're
This
trying.
movie
it's being-
fucking sucked.
It's bold. The colors are bold, and
Now
stuff
you can
like
talk
that,
to me like
but
you need to talk me into it.
Guardians felt like it was funny and it was bold like that, but at least for me, it didn't really feel fresh.
Thank you.
I've been bugging the piss out of me for the last hour. You keep...
It really didn't feel like it felt fresh for Marvel movies, but it didn't feel fresh like that movie.
Right.
And this felt like it was fresh for a movie. And I really did like, because it really did feel like, the Jack Kirby kind of stuff and Walter Simonson kind of stuff, but also felt like it was like, hey, somebody was like, hey, you remember in the 80s they used to have the Thor on the side of a monster truck, like spray paint them on, and it was like all it's kind of 80s metal shit. Let's make a movie about that. And that's what they did. It was like there's a lot of the music and like the look.
I even had that when one of the shop workers says, shred it. That's all I could think about.
Yeah.
During this whole movie is shred it. For metal.
There's a lot of good
The
music
score.
in it too. Yeah, the
Holy
score is really
crap.
good.
Like you get that 80s retro, and you get like Thor music, you get epic like Asgardian warrior music.
Yeah.
You get it all. I mean, every time I heard a new piece, but the score is like it's got like a tempo to it. And that's when like it's picking up, and you're just like, oh, what the fuck's gonna happen? Like, it's so good.
When we were watching this movie, I was like, I'm pretty sure like everything that from Deadly Class that Helmut is into, that's this
This is what
movie.
Thor is
Yeah.
into.
Yeah, that's what
yeah.
this movie is about. Like metal, and it was like gods, but also like people like or like kind of like even like fantasy. More fantasy. It felt more fantasy than those other two Thor movies. Those two Thor movies felt like it was like, well, don't be too weird.
Right.
Like Asgardians were aliens and stuff like that. Like, come on, keep it a little bit realistic. And this movie was like, no, this is a fucking fantasy movie. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
I really did like it. You said it wasn't in your top 5. You said it was. It was
Oh,
for me.
absolutely. I'm so high.
I really like this movie.
Yeah.
I've been debating since we left if it's my number 1 of all the more movies. I really like this movie a lot.
Oh, this is my number 1 Thor movie. My thing is every time I go into a movie, at least Marvel wise, it's how does this compare to Winter Soldier? And
I see that's the debate I'm having in my head, and I do like Winter Soldier a lot, but there's something about having fun in a movie and it at least for me, for like it feeling like, oh, this is like brand new. And at the time, Winter Soldier did, but then they tried to like keep copying it, right? Civil War is kind of like it's. I guess maybe we get the same thing, but yeah, I'm having a debate in my head. So it's a 1 and 2 for me.
I'm at a 1 and 2 as well. Because, like, Winter Soldier took a lot to do some exposition to get you to the great scenes of that movie. This is just, it was literally like a roller coaster ride. I did not get off the roller coaster until I got off the movie.
There's something about having fun at a movie Winter Soldier is good, but there's a lot of parts of it that are like talking about politics and talking about, there's a lot of good action scenes, and it's more dramatic than this Thor movie is. There's very, very little drama in this movie.
But that's one of the parts I do love is when they do go to the drama, it's not like joking. Yeah. It's like they're like, no, this part is serious.
Yeah. And actually, that's one point that, especially Guardians 2, I felt did horribly, was that in parts that were supposed to be dramatic, they would try to insert a joke and be like, come on, just let a moment breathe. Like we talked about on the show. I was like, just let it breathe. I don't need a fucking joke every 2 seconds. And I thought, you're right. In this Thor movie, there's certain parts where it's like, oh, this is serious moments. And they took it seriously. But then right after, like when it was done, it's like, oh, let's get back into this roller coaster ride. It would, yeah, you're right. It would stop real quick and then be, okay, let's go. Should we get a rating now? Or should we, I would say we'll give a rating of see it or don't see it. I say go see it.
Yeah, I'm going to say go see it.
Oh, I'd say see it. I mean, I've got like a 6 or 7 rate right now. It's.
Well, I was going to say we're going to get number ratings in the spoilers.
Just wait till we amp you.
Let's get details.
No, and my movie rates, you dipshits.
Dipshits? Why am I under this? Marvin's the one that was talking.
If Winter Soldier's number 1.
I got anytime. Or disagree with you, just fucking come at us.
You can't
don't feel attacked. Don't feel back to the corner here.
I've only spoken like 5 words since we started.
Just because you don't like fun and we do, doesn't mean you have to get after us.
I'm gonna get Alex like a Bucky doll that he can hug when he's feeling low, with a wet fucking metal arm just over his shoulder.
If you haven't seen Thor Ragnarok, go see it. If you have seen it, stick around. We're gonna talk about spoilers here. That's your warning. You like that warning?
I liked it. It was good.
So like the moment with we're just talking about with Odin. With him passing away, I thought that one's really good.
Anytime, so there, like we were just saying, there are dramatic beats in this movie. You wouldn't think there would be, but when they do, like it doesn't take a break. It takes like a pause from the comedy and everything, and like you can tell when like Thor's being jokey Thor, but when he's serious about something, like this is when he actually turns into the God of Thunder. When you see him getting his lightning and thunder powers activated. I mean, anything involving his dad, his legacy, anything like that. And I think gradually throughout the entire movie, what a beautiful job of like, and I was telling Marvin before you got here, Alex, like Thor is the God of thunder.
Holy shit.
Mjolnir is not the God of thunder. So I get like in the comics right now, like Jane Foster is Thor. Spoiler, sorry. If you don't know that, get out of that rock. But it's not the hammer that makes the god. It's the god.
Why do you keep calling him Mjolnir?
Mjolnir, whatever.
Mjolnir.
However the fuck you say Mimi.
What kind of laugh was that?
What? That's from Thor 1 and 2.
No, the way you laughed. Is that from Thor?
I didn't laugh. I wasn't even laughing. I was scratching here when I was saying it.
People heard it.
People heard it.
But I don't know. I like that. You know, Odin's basically like, he tells Thor, like, you don't need this hammer to be Thor. The hammer was only to help you focus all your energy, all your powers onto one thing to use, but that was never who you were.
And that's the thing that's a little bit different than the comics, like the hammers.
Which I love 100% more than the comics.
I do like that he's the God of Thunder, so obviously he would have something.
Yeah.
He's going to be powerful otherwise. The joke, like I said, I thought the jokes were, I was telling Garrett before you got here. I don't know why I had to mention that, but I feel weird just saying, but because he just heard it. I thought the jokes in here, like in Guardians, I thought the jokes were like visually funny and stuff like that, or they would be like one-liners and quick. But I thought the jokes in this movie, Ragnarok, were well written to a point where like they could keep a gag going just based on words, and like that's it, and it killed me every time. Grandmaster. Best person in this whole movie.
Marvin's favorite character for the rest
every
of
single
eternity.
line. I'm gonna go with him next Halloween. I think I should go Grandmaster.
Got to paint your nails blue and your mouth blue.
So lucky to know today.
Yeah, it's Rocky.
There's a part where they talk about how the mainframe was disabled, so all the slaves got out, and he's like, whoa, I don't like that word.
Mainframe?
She's like, mainframe, and she goes, mainframe. He goes, why would it be not like mainframe? He goes, no, the S word. She goes, "Oh, the prisoners who have jobs." And he's like, "Yeah, that's bad." And it's just that small thing. Like, why would that even come up? But obviously, he thinks he's like this great leader, and obviously, he doesn't want to hear that he has slaves. So, like, even like that part is like building this guy's character. We had the little thing at the end of the movie where he's like, "Come on, guys, we're all on the same page, right? Like, great revolution." Obviously, I played a part because you can't have a one-sided revolution. So even stuff like that is like this guy sees that he's so great, and can't really see that like he really is the bad guy in this situation. Even every time that like Thor would get away, or when he stole Hulk, he would show up and be like, "Hey, people of the city, you gotta help me out here." He doesn't realize that they fucking hate him.
Yeah,
he's just like, "Come on, guys, good work, good job.
He stole my ship. Go get him.
Go get him, guys." I thought that was hilarious. Like you said, Hulk, I thought was amazing. This movie made me laugh.
This felt like 1/4 a Hulk movie. I mean, it really was.
Well, this is Thor, Hulk Planet.
Planet Hulk. Get it right.
That's how Hulk would say it. Hulk Planet.
I thought even there was a good fight scene between two, but even like the scene where they're in the room together just talking stuff like that.
Oh
so
my God,
funny.
I was dying. They're like basically having little kid temper tantrums with each other.
And obviously that's the way those two are going to be. So
Yeah.
I thought it was really great. Like I said before, it wasn't even that the Hulk was like, he was doing stuff visually that was funny, but it was just the way they were going back and forth that was funny. And so I just think that even on paper, this movie is well written. Like those jokes are good jokes because of the way they're written, rather than just being like, "Oh, that's funny, a raccoon seeing it." I'm not that I like Guardians, but like, people were like, "Oh, I like Rocket. He's a raccoon," and he says absurd stuff, and like that's the joke, right? They don't like write something clever anymore, especially Guardians do. It's just that, oh, he's saying absurd stuff and he's a raccoon. It's like, yeah, I got it.
Who thought we'd ever get to this point where we get an intelligent Hulk? Like they can actually speak sentences and phrases. Like we've been wanting that since the first Avengers movie came out. I mean,
hey, and then we also get a dramatic moment when he sees
Black Widow
Natalia,
in the
and he starts changing back to Bruce. I thought that moment was really like done well.
Yeah,
he starts turning back.
That made him, from 2 years of being the Hulk, go back to Bruce.
And then when he's Bruce and they're in the city, Mark Ruffalo coming out with the comedy was fucking hilarious.
He was really good.
I must not have enjoyed this movie as much as you guys did.
Well, we know you don't like comedy.
Because there's just you guys talking about these things that you thought were funny, and I'm like, oh yeah, I smelled that stuff, but I didn't.
The Hulk throwing a temper tantrum, he was literally like,
but the Mark Ruffalo thing, that really, I was like, oh okay.
What part? Like, what part are you talking about?
When they were on the stairs.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's for sure.
yeah.
On the stairs.
When he's talking about, he's like, that he can't change back to Hulk, and he's like, it's a whole planet. Is
when there's when he goes to put this
he's doing
disguise on.
the sunset will come. He's like, why do you keep saying that?
He's trying to do the lullaby that Black Widow does,
Yeah.
which I also love that. Last time we saw Hulk in a movie was Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
And how cool is that? Like a cool payoff that Bruce is coming back. Like this is the first time we've seen Bruce. This is the first time Bruce has been Bruce since Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yeah, 2 years.
So it's cool that his last memories are like, did we save Sokovia?
It's been 2 years since that movie? Or is it just 2 years in the Marvel universe?
Probably 2 years in the Marvel universe. They're trying to make it relevant.
I think it's been 2 years.
I thought it was 3 because I thought it was 2014
Oh, okay. So 2 years in the Marvel universe, but 3 years in actual real
for
life.
us. Yeah.
I like when he almost Hulks out too. Like he's starting to get agitated and you see the veins fill up with the Hulk and then Thor's like, whoa, buddy, like cool your jets. And he's like, okay.
I thought the one part of this movie, and we could say the Grandmaster is a villain, but the Hell Up as a villain, I really take it or leave it. I thought she was good.
She was good. I love, like, she is powerful.
She's not really given that much to do. Yeah, here's the thing, though. She's supposed to be super powerful, but she's fighting Thor at the end, and she just keeps throwing those knives. When I know she can, like, shoot a huge thing out of the floor. Yeah. Why is she just throwing knives at Thor? Throw a bunch of those things out of the ground. What are you doing?
Well, it amazes me. She stomps the hammer. And I realize, again, the hammer is not the source of the power.
Oh, you're hurting my feelings. I don't want to talk about, oh, fuck. I wanted that hammer back. I don't care that it's gone. Bring me the fucking hammer back.
But it's one of those things that he throws the hammer and she just obliterates the hammer. That, to be fair, she should have beaten the shit out of him a little bit more. I mean, she does annihilate him.
And that was before she became powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just... her build up to strength, she should have been unstoppable.
But I felt like she should have been a sympathetic villain because she was betrayed by Odin and banished, and she's just coming back to get what she thinks is rightfully hers. And so there should be some sympathy there, but never felt. I just was like,
I
think it would have been
her brothers would be a challenge to the throne.
Yeah.
I mean, now that she's gone, it goes to Thor.
I know, but you should have at least felt bad for her being like, yeah, maybe she's got a point, but she never had a point.
I think rather than destroy Mew Mew, like, because you see those mural pictures where she was the possessor of Mew Mew. I'm going to say Mew Mew because you guys don't like how I say Mjolnir. Mjolnir.
You were saying like Mjolnir.
Whatever. Mjolnir. Shut up.
Oh, you talking X-Files?
Not Mulder. But I think it would have been cooler if she, like, you could tell that the hammer wants to go to Thor, but she's so powerful that, like, she possesses it. Like, she's not, like obviously it belongs to Thor and it wants to be with Thor, but she's so powerful that it's, like, she has enough power to hold on to it.
That it has to succumb to her power.
Right, because she used it when she was, you can see in those murals, Odin's, what is it called? Executioner.
Yeah.
So that would have been cooler, rather than destroy
her first.
the one Marvel toy that's going to sell
And then he put
$100s
the thing about
movie.
being worthy afterwards, because we see that in the first Thor movie.
Yeah.
And then he like kind of made it for her.
But it makes sense that if probably the hammer doesn't want to go to her, and she probably can't overpower it, and that she has to destroy it.
Does that mean you think in Infinity War Yarnborn's coming in? Probably.
Because you got to remember, the weapon doesn't make the god.
You're talking
God makes the god.
visually again. A lot of good visuals in this movie. We have a couple great scenes. We have the flashback to Valkyrie fighting her. And,
good.
God, so good. On Pegasus.
Saw it first in Wonder Woman, though, the slow-mo fighting. So, nice try.
I do like Carl Urban in this part. In this movie, at the end, he redeems himself by using his guns. What kind of guns are those, Alex?
Those look like M16s.
M16s.
Right?
Using
What were they
two of
called?
them.
Des and Stroy.
I liked how you used the guns, like that slow-mo shot of him jumping out of the ship and like shooting for Asgard. I actually got a little bit chills in that part.
Yeah,
just
that's
for
cool.
Anybody saying for Asgard and like go jumping into battle, you got me.
To be fair, then he looks up at the ship that's leaving him. Oh.
No, he's like, we did good, right? I did good.
You
And
guys
then
forgive
Hela
me?
kills
Then
him
he
with
dies.
a knife. Sword thing.
Yeah.
The arena fight, we barely we touched on, but like the manner in which Hulk beats up, I mean, they beat each other up pretty.
It was good.
pretty
That was a
damn
good
well.
fight.
Yeah. Like choreography, I've never seen in a fight before. Because it's like basically two Titans like beating the shit out of each other. And even Hulk, when he gets like knocked out, he's like, what? Like, are you kidding? Like, that's not supposed to happen.
I am blanking on the character's name and I am blanking on the actor's name.
Mark Ruffalo, Bruce Banner, Hulk.
Yes. What's with the Bifrost?
Oh,
Heimdall.
Heimdall. What's the actor's name?
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba. I
dare you.
I love that they gave him more to do in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like in the first two movies, I was like, you got fucking Idris Elba and you have him like one line, like do some more. And in this whole movie, I thought he was a fucking badass. I
Yep.
was like, God.
Yeah, he got that broadsword out of his ass.
However, so now they're all leaving, right? I guarantee you he fucking dies in Infinity War.
You think?
Sure.
Guarantee you one of the Cabal, like fucking take, not Cabal, right? No,
That's what
Black
they're
Order.
called. Or whatever they're called.
The Black Order, like, fucking kills him.
So Cabal would be like Doctor Doom and
Yeah.
all those guys.
Really like the movie. I don't know. There's not a lot to say because most of it's based on those jokes.
Yeah.
Like, you either like him or don't like him, and your enjoyment's going to be based on that. It really is a different kind of humor. I watched a couple of his, not a couple. I watched Eagle vs. Shark, which is a movie by the same director, just to see what kind of humor it was. So I kind of knew going in that was going to be some kind of weird humor. And that's what I liked about it. It wasn't like safe Marvel, like, oh, let's only make jokes that are like PG. You know, there's jokes about devil's anuses,
Right.
jokes about like Thor jerking off, where he's like, yeah, the hammer, like I pulled on the hammer. What was he saying? Like I pulled on the hammer. Like
Yeah.
the jerk off joke.
Oh, Krog was like, oh, I thought the hammer pulled you off. You know,
Yeah.
right?
He goes, yeah, the hammer pulled
Oh, that's what
me
they're
off.
talking about. I wish I had my hammer, and yeah,
He goes, the hammer pulled me off. What?
I would just throw my hammer off.
And then and there's one joke fucking killed me at the end when Krog was like, "Oh no, I stepped on him on the way on the bridge, so he's dead." And he comes back to life. Oh, he's alive. What were you
He's a
saying, bro?
hidden. He's a character, like literally, that is one of the like standout characters I think of this movie. Krog, he's like a rock gladiator. Everybody's gonna, huh?
He's in Planet Oak, right?
I don't know. I haven't read Planet Oak.
Oh, I thought you did.
He looks like a blue thing almost.
But he, I think he was a great character. I think that everyone's gonna love him. He's kind of like whatever the comedic relief is in all the big blockbusters. I mean, he is that. And that is the director, is what Marvin told me.
Yeah.
That's the
really?
director playing him. And I thought he was funny as crap.
Yeah, he was.
Well,
I mean,
that's
His
my wife's favorite
delivery
part.
was fucking amazing.
It was on point.
God, every single thing he says. So you know what? I was actually thinking about the other day because I know a lot of people who think the way I was about to say it, it's very weird. And I accidentally had it. Leave it
Sure
alone.
you did.
A lot of people think that jokes. I'm saying this is a well-written movie, but you got to give props for delivery. Like
Yeah.
Christopher, who knew Chris Hemsworth was so hilarious? Like simple moments, like when he's wearing the thing over his head, and like they can see your face. And if I do this, and he covers his face. Like he was something as stupid as that. It, like made me laugh so much.
That was pretty good.
But like delivery is like 80% of a joke.
Yeah.
I don't care like how dumb a joke is. If you can get the delivery down, it's hilarious. But so let's say for instance, not related to this movie, but before this movie, we saw the Jumanji trailer. The whole time I was like, oh, it seems like it should be okay. Like I probably won't go see it in theaters, but if I saw it on TV, it'd be fine. There's a joke at the very end when Kevin Hart's character in that movie, one of his weaknesses is cake, and he eats the cake, and they go, "Oh, your weakness is cake," and he goes, and he's like, "They look okay? Am I still black?" And they go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Everything should be fine." And he blows up. And just the way like he does the delivery, it's like based on that. And I literally said out loud in the theater, probably not that loud because you guys didn't hear me, but Dave heard me. And he looked at me. I laughed and I go, "That's so fucking stupid," and it's hilarious at the same time. And it's just, and like that's a dumb joke, but it works because of the way it's delivered.
I tell you what, I laughed so hard at that part.
Oh, that was good. I was crying. I was like, "Oh, Jesus!"
But that's what like a lot of Korg is like. His delivery in that movie is like spot on. Like there's some jokes I was thinking about. I was like, that's not like if I'm telling somebody that joke. It's not gonna be funny and be like, oh, but you should just watch the movie, because the way he delivers it, that's what makes it funny. Like his delivery was kind of like he was kind of a laid back guy and kind of like a little bit dumb. I think he's like he's fucking rock, but just the way he delivers it was great, and especially that last line that he goes, "What were we talking about, bro?"
For the opening, anyways, when Thor first gets back to Asgard after Loki's been Odin. Get one of the best comedy scenes of all time.
Hey,
if you're
some
on
nice cameos, right? Sam Neill.
Matt Damon. Matt Damon played Loki, and Sam Neill was Odin in this.
Hey, who was Thor? I
don't know who was that.
I'm not sure.
Just look it up.
But I don't know if you guys paid attention to Chris Hemsworth on Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh no.
So Mark Ruffalo was in the dressing room.
Yeah.
And Matt Damon kept doing his face over he wasn't even in the interview, but he was like there. And like they'd be recording like Mark Ruffalo in the dressing room, and Matt Damon would just peek his head in and be like, "Hey guys, I want to be here too." Like it was hilarious. It was awesome. So to see him in that movie was fucking amazing. Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie,
really great.
Oh wow.
Speaking of delivery and acting, I thought she was really great in that role.
Best entrance at one of the best entrances of that movie, when she like is coming out of the plane like a badass and then falls off the plane because she's
so drunk. But also like her action scenes are really great and convincing.
Yeah.
A lot of times you see fight scenes from actors that just like it doesn't really look real or look convincing, but she really delivered on that. I want to see more movies with her. Yeah. I thought when I was watching that movie, I was like, okay. And I think actually there's rumors about this. We need a movie where it's like Valkyrie, Gamora. Like we have all these great female characters in the Marvel U now. Like why isn't there a movie about them?
Yeah.
Or one of them. We've been talking about Black Widow for a while.
Actresses pitched an all-female superhero movie.
Like let's do it.
Yeah.
They're all great characters.
It was Luke Hemsworth.
Oh, is his
Was
brother?
actor Thor.
That's his brother.
Oh, I guess I only know his other brother, whoever the other. brother.
Jared. No, I don't know. What's his brother?
Liam
Hemsworth. There we go. Now I'm going to talk about one of the movie sins that the only thing I could think of that I really didn't like, that the Warriors 3 went out like little chumps as well.
Oh, yeah.
They literally get daggers.
Yeah, they got to
thrown
kill
at 'em.
Zachary Levi. Obviously, he's going to play Shazam, so like get him out of there.
I suppose, but
But they all went down, so what?
I know. And then Lady
3?
Sif's not even in it. I'm sure she'll show up
She's
again.
heartbroken because Thor doesn't want to date her.
She wasn't in it. Did you know why?
Mm-mm.
She wasn't in it because the actress was on that one show. What was that show called?
Blind Spot.
Yeah, and they couldn't work out the schedule. So
Well, like the Warriors 3 just die. Nothing gets said. Thor doesn't even go like
Hogan. Hogan
for,
gets to fight.
3 more minutes.
Oh.
And then he goes out really brutally.
Hey, what about Jane Foster? They just like, hey, broke up with her.
No, they both broke up with each other.
I think that was a good night. I mean,
if you've read online, Natalie Portman's like going crazy about all this because she wanted to leave Thor 2 because they fired Wonder Woman, Patty Jenkins from that movie.
Yeah.
And so she was like, I didn't even want to do this movie in the first place when she was in Thor 2.
Yeah.
So she had no interest in coming. I guess Marvel was like,
Why don't you just recast her? What's the big deal?
Because now, potential Lady Thor, adios, unless you do some recasting.
There's no way they would get her anyway. She would ask for so much money.
Yeah.
Like, the reason why these movies can do so many of these actors in these movies because they got them early. And they be like, hey, by the way, we'll pay you $10 million, or not 10, but like 60 for 9 movies. And they're like, all right, 60 for 9 movies.
Yeah.
And then now they're at a point where they're asking 60 per.
Yeah.
Instead of 60 for 9 movies.
Sorry, I have one more movie sin. I thought I said one. Just one more. Rainbow Bridge has fucking guide rails, but they're every like 30 yards. What's the fucking point? First movie, no guardrails. Second movie, guardrails every like.
But to be fair, the first movie, it broke.
That's true.
So we had to fix it. We're hoping that this guardrails will hold it together better, and it still falls apart.
I know. It's like people are like falling. You see it like when the ship's there getting all the people off Asgard. It's like people are falling off like the Titanic, and I'm like, what the fuck?
This is a movie that it's not really much to examine in this movie. You know what I mean? It's not like we're talking about it. Like
it's just fun. Like I would love to see it again.
That's the difference for me. Like Winter Soldier, I can dig deep into that movie. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I do like it on that level. But also, I just like having a movie every once in a while where I could be like,
just watch it to watch it.
Like from beginning to end, it was hilarious. It never felt like it was dragging at all. It's short, and everything about it aesthetically, the music, everything. Great.
Oh, the score was incredible. Like, we've already touched on it, but like that 80s riff music or like the tempo, the synthesizer, like all of that was just amazing.
You know what I'm glad about, and I hope it continues forward? Those first 2 Thor movies had a lot of like sad Thor. Or like, it's like, come on. Or like angry Thor or like serious Thor. And there were once in this movie. I mean, one part where he, like his dad...
right as he dies,
Odin,
he's starting to like lightning thunder up.
But then right away they move on to the next thing and like
yeah, but you want to know what made this movie better without was not having Jane Foster. She pulled him down. She was not a strong woman in those 2 movies.
This is the I know they're going to make Tessa Thompson the love interest, but this would have been perfect for Lady
Really, I
Sif
thought she would
to
get together
slip
with
in.
Hulk.
Nah, they even said when they cast her that she was going to be Thor's love
Oh, really?
interest.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never got that. That's true.
I know. I thought she was flirting with
Oh
Hulk.
I got you got it at the end when they come up together
Wow, yeah.
and they bump
Well,
into each other.
yeah. But
They
you
bump
know,
uglies.
And she's like, I like you.
but she saw Hulk and was like, oh, that's who he is.
Well, I think even Thor saw Hulk and was like, I want to be part of that.
Yeah. There's one more thing I was going to say.
I really didn't have anything wrong with this movie. I know you said you had a couple things.
Those are 2 things. I just didn't like how like they build up the Warrior 3 in the first 2 and then they go out like chumps.
I agree with that, but I never liked those 3 anyways. I do like them in the comics a lot, but never in the movies. Especially when one's been recast like twice.
Yeah, that's true.
Zachary Levi, Shazam, get out of here.
Right.
Go work out.
I was disappointed that they didn't even get to attack her, that they just got taken out. But
Right.
Oh, no, I didn't like the main villain. So I'm going to give it a 9, strong 9, but I just feel like she wasn't around the screen that much time.
Yeah.
Like,
it felt like 2 movies mashed into
Grandmaster.
one.
Like it was more Grandmaster's the main villain in this movie, but really he's not really that intimidating. So
what's the big red guy? Is it Searcher?
he was. Oh, by the way, I wanted to bring this up.
So Syria.
Surtur? I don't know how to say it. I know it's S-U-R-T-U-R.
We also got to talk about Loki too a little bit at some point.
Yeah,
We can't
he
ignore
was
him.
okay.
Loki? I thought he was amazing.
Oh, my favorite gag of this whole movie is every time that Thor would see him and he throws rocks or throws things at him. Then when he goes into the spaceship and throws that bottle or whatever at his
He's
head,
like,
hits him.
ow.
I know, but it's kind of that thing where you were talking about how yes, I know Loki's going to betray him and stuff like that, and that happens in this movie. And he goes, "Come on, man, you're so predictable."
Well, and that didn't bother. I just liked watching him throw that thing at his head. But
I know he was funny. It was good.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, he was actually being a good brother. He was being, like, the Loki we want. I know he did betray him,
yeah, I was like,
but in the end,
he
he does
showed
help
up.
him
He did
out.
show up, yeah.
So,
And
Odin, for some reason, was just like, we're good.
Surtur. Is that what you're going to talk about?
Flame, dude.
no, yes.
Yes, that is what
I find it funny how in the last basically like year, 2 years of Mighty Thor, they've randomly introduced these people and we're like, what's this guy doing in this book? It's so weird, random. And they're all in this movie. That's why. like to get people used to him in this movie. He was in the comic recently.
Right.
Hela was in the comic recently.
True.
I think
Volstagg,
Grandmaster was.
but I guess he's dead.
So like all these people being like, oh, better remember who these people are. Or
I think Valkyrie was at some point early on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Valkyrie was in it. And Carl Urban's character was in
The Executioner, isn't that
Is that the brother?
Odin's brother?
yeah, and that's
Cull.
what I mean. Yeah. So like all these characters were in the comics recently, and you're like, well, that's kind of weird. Where's this guy coming from? And it's like, oh, they're getting ready for this movie. It's kind of funny. I was just like, oh, okay. Instead of the comics being innovative and being the thing pushing stuff forward,
Right.
they're like, they hear from the studios being like, oh, we're going to have these characters. So they're like, oh, we should use these characters. And the movies are trying something new and taking chances rather than, and like being the thing that the comics are like, oh, we should do that too. And it's like, no, you should be doing your own shit. And then,
I'm throwing out there to Jason Aaron. Hey, Mew Mew, movies versus comics, movie wins. Don't want no sentient fucking hammer.
Oh, I still like that. I like that.
what do you give this, Alex, out of 10?
Oh, an 8.
Garrett?
I'm gonna give it a 10. Like I had like things that bothered me, but it wasn't enough. I mean, I was just having fun the entire time. Hulk's one of my favorite Marvel characters.
Doctor Strange.
Oh, Doctor Strange. Yeah, we didn't bring up him.
Nice quick scene.
Yeah, nice quick scene. It was still funny. I mean, we didn't get that arrogant Doctor Strange. Maybe he's maturing. I don't know. But I was telling Marvin, I was like, spoilers. He gets his yellow fucking gloves. Where do we see that scene? I want to see.
Really
that.
Even his cape was different.
He's really good at magic now.
Yeah.
Tell you that much. He doesn't even have to think about it.
I didn't even know you could
Boom,
move
boom.
those portals. Like literally
right
pick
at
them up and move them. I thought you could just open them. Like that's it.
Figured it out.
But and you could. It was cool that they still kept like the CGI for him too. Like when he's making the symbols, to, like test Thor's hair and things like that, and like find where his dad is. And that was a cool payoff from the end credit of Doctor Strange. So I'm excited for Infinity War for him to be in that movie. I want to see more Doctor Strange.
Yeah, so do I. I'm excited.
But yeah, 10 because I love me some Hulk. I've been loving Thor more and more. Not in the comics so much, but I mean the last issue 700 blew my mind and got me amped. I'm just hoping he doesn't go back to old tropes like this comic being about Mjolnir the Hammer or Mjolnir. How the fuck? Mew Mew the Hammer with Thor and maybe Jane Foster.
This is why I give him the hard names. He knows how to say them.
Mule.
I'm just gonna say Mew Mew.
It's like saying mule.
Do you have anything else you want to say?
No.
Thor Ragnarok, let us know what you think of that. Email us Wednesday.
What'd you give it, 9?
605. Yes.
Pulled a U. Wasn't listening.
Wednesday Comic 605 at gmail.com. Follow
I should have
Garrett
taken the hammer bell when I got the chance.
on Twitter. Follow Garrett2188 for Garrett. Let him know what you think of his points there. Alex Pastrallo on Twitter and Marvin _Salguaro or the show at Wednesday Comics. Follow us on there. For anything, when's your Wednesday Comics needs?
That's where we bring the lightning.
Follow
and the
Garrett on
thunder.
Twitter if you never want to see a tweet. Follow Alex on Twitter if you want to see other people's tweets. And follow me if you want these exclusive Taco Bell Austin Powers.
Oh my God, it's never going to happen.
Facebook.com/Wednesday Comics Podcast. Make sure you're liking us on Facebook so you get the post when the show comes out. It does post there first. Also Twitter, but pick one. Find us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher Radio. Subscribe, rate, review. But I've been saying it for weeks, and I hope you guys are listening. And go ahead and leave us a rating. Takes 2 seconds. You don't need to write one, but just go to iTunes and leave a star rating. It really does. It pushes us out there. If there's enough ratings, they start like suggesting it to people, being like, "Hey, this person gave it this amount of stars. You might like this too." So just go on there. I don't want to hear it that you have Android. There's an iTunes website. I don't know what it is, but it's
iTunes for Android. That's
it's
what
Apple.
It is.
Yeah, it's like
Apple. You suck because you got Android.
Android
Stink
is copyrighted by LucasArts
For sure.
or Lucasfilm, and he's got an Android. That means he likes Star Wars.
No, it doesn't.
Make sure, we haven't mentioned it a little bit, but it's just your monthly reminder for the book club. The Wednesday Comics Extraordinary.
No, Wednesday Comics Leave Extraordinary Gentle People's Book Club.
Why is it going to be so fucking complicated?
Because it's fucking awesome.
What's the book, Garrett?
It is The Other Side, written by Jason Aaron with art by Cameron Stewart. You get 2 points of view, one from a Vietnam soldier and one from an American soldier during the Vietnam War.
And make sure we're going to be reviewing it the first week of January. So
January 5th, I think.
January 5th, he thinks. January 5th.
They did just come out with the 10th anniversary hardcover you can get. That's not too expensive. Otherwise, it is on Hoopla.
It is. So go ahead and read it if you want to join us in that conversation. Let's see. Am I missing something else? I always feel like I'm missing something. Nope. We don't want to hear that.
You're missing the lightning and the thunder.
Lightning in the thunder.
I've been your lightning.
And I've been your thunder.
Looks like that's it. You know what? Think about this. Thor is lost an eye. We didn't even talk about that.
Oh, yeah, we didn't.
R.I.P. that
King.
eye.
He's king.
King Thor
of
without an
Asgard.
eye. You think he'll lose an arm soon?
Of course. Probably be in an Infinity War.
Ooh, Thanos
teased it in
rip
Thor
out his
2.
arm. Ooh, Thanos rip out of the arm. Ready for it. What's the next movie? Black Panther. We just talked about it. But what about beyond that? What's the
Next one that we're going to review?
Just
next Marvel movie. Yeah,
Black Panther, and then what else?
just
Infinity War Part 1.
Yeah.
Really?
May. They've always been notorious. Even Civil War, that trailer didn't come out till literally January when it came out in May.
I will get an Infinity War trailer with Star Wars. I guarantee you.
Probably.
Yeah.
Or if not, it'll be in February when that Super Bowl's going on.
Yeah, actually, that's probably true.
They waited till last second to get that trailer.
Make sure you subscribe to the video on YouTube. I forget. That's what I forgot. With the Halloween show, we dressed up. Make sure you can watch it. You can look at it, me dressed as Rocky, Alex as Spider-Man, and Garrett as Iron Man. The worst.
I know Marvin hates Iron Man. I don't have any comeback.
We'll give you a little teaser. Make sure you're subscribed for the Thanksgiving episode. I'll just say that much. It's going to be something you're visually wanting to see.
It's going to be hot.
Somebody might throw up. I'll put it out there. And it might be me. For Wednesday Comics, I've been Marvin.
Oh, I've been your lightning, Alex.
And I've been your thunder, Garrett.
Hey, everyone. What?
I was just going to say I've been the Grandmaster then.
Oh, you got it. You want to say it again? That way I don't cut you off that you're the Grandmaster.
Don't cut him off. He's the Grandmaster.
All right. Hey, everyone. Keep turning those pages.